Coffee and Cream on Hail Varsity Radio with Andrew Rogers and Damon Benning.
And the 0-1.
Base hit to right field. Cubs take the lead. Horner around second. He's going to third. The throw. And it's not in time. And a wild throw at first. Horner's going to try to score. He will. Cubs lead 2-0.
The 0-2 pitch. Swung on, and that's clocked out towards the gap in left center field. That'll roll all the way to the wall. Hilliard scores. Here comes Michael Harris, and a huge day for Travis d'Arnaud. 2 more runs driven in on his 4th hit of the ball game. And it's 6-2 Atlanta in the ninth.
Kick the 1-0. Swing and a fly ball to right. Going back is Tucker. He looks up. It is gone, and we have a tie ball game. Yasmani Grandal laces one to right field, and the White Sox are on the board. It's 1-1.
The pitch is swung on. Torres hits a fly ball to deep right. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. It's Glaber Day. Glaber Torres just went to right field and hit a 2-run home run to give the Yankees a 3-0 lead.
Me and Teddy, I ain't gonna lie, me and Teddy, like, we were already close, but that right there just made us even closer, and we got class together, so, man, that's a big ass dude. I was, like, looking at everybody's matchups. I'm like, okay, who's gonna get Teddy? I'm like, I'm just seeing, like, it's nobody to match him up with. I'm like, Teddy, I got you. I'm just gonna have to do it. Go ahead. So that's really just how it went down, just that simple.
What a great way to welcome us in on a morning.
Omar's coming.
Cream.
Omar's coming. Hey, Omar's coming.
Shane's new favorite on the Nebraska football team.
R.I.P. Omar.
Is that your sleeper this spring, Shane?
Is that your man crush?
Is that your man?
Say it again, my bad.
Is that your man?
Man.
Oh, he loves him some Omar.
Which is funny because I was walking in and Shane goes, "Hey, you want to hear my favor? Do you want to hear my favor?" Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll tell you who my Nebraska favor is. Your favorite?
Saying like nah.
Nah.
And he's like, Omar.
I told him to open his little birdhouse window. We could hear him better. Like, man, just some big ass dude.
Yeah, it is.
He is a monster.
Oh,
golly.
He towers over the lineman.
Yeah, I'd be worried about his long-term health. Yeah. Those guys, man, it's hard for big guys to be as agile as he is. Thank God he hooped. You know, so he's still got good footwork and good. He is a lot.
Yeah, but still bending down like that.
Oh yeah,
it's
a long way to go. I remember I gave him a hug last year, right before he had his shoulder surgery, and I was like on my tiptoes to get to like where his pec line is.
Were you like his child? Like
it was so awkward. And then I saw him at a press conference last off season, and this time he just brought me in with he kind of ragdolled me a little bit. He just kind of brought me in, and I was like, dang. I need to, yeah. I told you, the only reason you work out, you'd rather be caught with than without. I got to get back in the gym for that dude.
You were like, this would have hurt me still when I played.
Man, I just imagine that dude coming out pulling. And you're trying to take it on. You got to spill a puller. You're like, hey.
You know, I always joked with my buddies in college, like, hey, if you could take a hit from any NFL linebacker, who would it be? And I'm like, I feel like I'd love to take a hit from Brian Urlacher. I think that would be like just something.
Oh, good. And you'd last too, because he can't hit. But go ahead.
I think that would be something that, would mean something to me, somebody that I watched growing up. And so then it had me thinking, just when you were talking right there, like, who in the Nebraska football team would I want to hit me? And Teddy Prohaska would probably be one that I'd be like, hey, you can hit me because if I survive, that's a good story.
I know one you don't want to hit you. That would be Luke Reimer.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks.
I don't think you want any of Bullock either. It's the squatty compact run through you guys. It isn't the big guys sometimes that can't.
It's the low center of gravity.
Gain a lot of momentum. It's those lighter, stronger run through guys, not the grabbers and rappers. I mean,
Man, that's a big.
It's a big ass dude.
It is.
Omar's coming.
I wonder if I could carry you across the field. I don't think I could.
Yeah.
Like Omar, he's got some strength down low.
Shane loves that. So we're just going all. I didn't even make it through 8 episodes of The Wire, but are we just going all? Are we just going all Omar? And I feel bad too because everybody puts The Wire up there with like the greatest shows of all time. Like I hear Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, and there's one of these other funny ones that's kind of out right now. Is it? No, I'm going to butcher it. I don't want to hear Amazing Daniel's mouth. And then like The Wire, I think Game of Thrones is somewhere in there, which I never saw. But yeah, and that's my time period too. Like
Game of Thrones.
I like that. I like the kings, the queens, the family reigns, the dynasties. Like
dragons.
I like that kind of stuff. I'm a big Hobbit guy. But man, your boy's cheat sheet just wasn't like clicking. Like I used it for The Godfather and it was easy. I'd have to actually print this off IMDb this time because I would have to be reading it while I'm watching.
Yeah.
My retention is fine. Like I can remember things, but your boy was lost early on.
Yeah. I like what I like. I haven't seen the entirety of Game of Thrones, but
he said I like what I like.
So when I say that, my favorite show is White Collar.
Never seen it.
It is by far.
Why am I not surprised you like it though?
All time.
What's White Collar about? White collars?
It's actually more blue collar than it is white collar. But it's about an art forger that becomes a criminal consultant for the FBI.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then it's like his
bad guy turned narc.
Kind of though, because he's one of those guys that you just attach to right away. Kind of like you told me before about Omar. He's like your favorite villain. Like he's the guy that he's still a good guy, even though he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Neil because you get into his personal life, you get into his internal battle with trying to stay good, but also trying to live on the edge. It's a good show.
Yeah. Omar's coming.
It's a big relationship show.
Shane, so Omar's your guy? If Omar plays well, that will allow them to be flexible with one Malcolm Hartzog. Because you need some depth at corner.
Which something I liked about Malcolm,
and Omar can play. He can play that field safety too.
Something I liked about him was I didn't get the vibe from him that he was a vocal leader.
Malcolm didn't say 6
but
words.
He is a disciple. He is a follower of this staff, of the leaders on the defense. He will always be there and always be present and do work, but he'll never be the guy that's like, hey,
100%,
do this, do that.
100%. He embodies right now the competitive stamina because let's say he's an 80% every play. He's 80% every play.
Mm-hmm.
He's not 100 one play and then like 50 the next. Like he's always there.
And the yips are gone. He said it. He said, I was nervous last year. Who wouldn't be nervous as a freshman stepping in like
and they kind of treat him like the guy too. And so like when you're empowered to play free,
and that leads to confidence.
It really does. It matters. I see it the most in hoops, right? When a guy or girl can just play with freedom and not have to look over their shoulder if they, maybe shoot a bad shot or, do something ultra aggressive. Like eventually they'll settle into some self-constraints, but just to know that they can do it without having to play peekaboo there's something to it.
And my favorite personality, MJ Sherman, by far.
I knew you were going to say that. You are my sunlight.
Now MJ was my guy too, though.
Only sunlight. you make me happy. Yeah, he seems like a big jolly guy.
He seems like a bro. Like
yes.
I would just hang out with that dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you get enough cool points. What would you do with old MJ?
I don't know. Maybe I'd be one of his $1 million friends.
You got a lot of those, doesn't he? Got a lot of those. He doesn't need it.
He's funny, man.
No, he was funny.
He's funny.
Saw a little personality yesterday.
And that goes so far when you desire, just an attachment to a team. Like if you get a lot of people that are so cut and dry, and you don't get a lot of change, you don't get a lot of inside personality.
Omar's coming.
I'm telling you, this fan base, after watching those, go back if you missed it. Go back and watch the player press conference, and I'm telling you, you won't love Nebraska more.
Omar's coming.
Or you will love Nebraska more. That's what I should have said. You'll love it even more.
It's a big ass dude, man.
Say it again, my bad.
Oh, shoot, Shane, that is – how many Omar clips did you cut up?
Oh, half dozen. But here's the thing I'm kind of digging with the press conferences right now.
Here we
is
go.
the development of just to see where everybody's going, personality, and to see like just the way the coaches are relaying information. Because you're gonna figure out after a month of this, who's the coach you're gonna go to for they're gonna give it to me straight.
Mm-hmm.
Without any BS. You're going to know who the players are that have the personality. You're going to know who the team leaders are. I mean, it's a very fluid and very it's great right now. It's a good time.
I don't think there's any worry about the coaching staff and who to get the right information from. They all seem to be on the same page.
Omar's coming.
Is Michigan Lance coming to talk about the wire?
Big ass dude.
Is that a big ass dude?
No, Michigan Lance is like a half a person since I last saw him.
Shane, let's go to line 1.
Michigan Lance, what's up?
What's up, Lance?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? How y'all doing today?
I'm glad you got out of that metal box you were in the other day. That was driving me bonkers.
I didn't realize you were underwater.
Right, hey man, sorry about that, man. The Bluetooth was horrible yesterday.
All good in the neighborhood.
Hey man, all that new money you guys got, including Shane, can y'all tell him to spend some of it and instead of watching PBS at work, buy one streaming service? Like you got new money, Shane. Spend a little bit of it, get one streaming service, and watch some stuff.
He is Shane. Are you going to watch some television?
I don't know.
There's a 7-day trial with Fubo. Look at him. He's on a roll this morning. It must be Friday.
It is Friday.
He has. I'll name like 5 shows. I don't know. I don't watch it. I don't have cable. Shane, come on, man.
Yeah, he's got internet now.
He has internet now, so he's got some options.
Yeah, come on, man. Pirate that stuff or something. Hey, man. Hey, is that Micah?
No, that's a random person I found on Vine. Remember when I went through my Vine phase and
Yes, yeah, you were the king. Yeah, LeBron James and all that. Yeah, you were the king.
James.
Oh man. Hey, but
it's the funniest thing on social media.
It was. Hey, Frank Stokes, man. I didn't finish my Frank Stokes. We ended off with he was vouching for you, DB, to play, and then some other coaches who I believe was Tom Osborne because he was the offensive coordinator, wouldn't let you redeem yourself and get back in until your 5th year of playing there. One of the other things I like about Frank is, when he got fired, like he went on a sabbatical of, I don't know if it's sabbatical, but like went around the country to learn from different coaches to be better for his next job.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't just sit and wait. All right, wait for a next job, man. He went out and got better because he was young as a head coach, but he was up there in age. He was 40s maybe, at the time, 50s when he took over or when he left Nebraska. But I mean, for him to continue learning, I love people who continue to learn. And then when he got, at Ohio, you can see it within his program, on the field, the things that he did, it wasn't just the old option I, might have some sprinkle that stuff in there, but man, he became an innovator doing new things, you know what I'm saying? And so I really appreciate that. And so I hope, build the family, bring the family back, man. But, one thing people, need to understand about family, you don't get along with everybody in your family. And so we can sit up here and say, hey, family, hey, it's all roses. Nah, it's not that. But when your family is in time of need and they're showing that they're trying to do better and get better or whatever, you know what I'm saying, that they're just not continue to drag people down, then, yeah, you help your family member out. And I think that's what people need to kind of remember. And I like the way the program is going with that as far as, hey, we're going to build our family and this and that. And the only other thing about that is at Nebraska, too, with the Nebraska family and alumni and current, you know, it's a lot of people don't look like DB as parents up there at Nebraska. And so, you know, the parents are all look one way, and the kids is this multifaceted, color, culture, or whatever. And sooner or later, that kind of has to change, too, for you know what I mean, for it to gel and go real smooth.
You're talking about minority representation?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, so I mean, the family at the top looks one way, and the kids look another. But sooner or later, that has to change around there. And I never believed in the curse. I believe like the like the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs, right? They had good teams, and then something happened, and they'll lose. Well, Nebraska, they didn't have good teams to lose. They were just losing, except for, you know, through that small period of Polynesian. And so it was a lot. It was a cultural thing. You had a president that didn't support athletics. You know, you went through the 80s, whether it was Osborne or Peterson that wasn't that good, and the other, you know, who the guy who hired Mike Riley. So that was that had nothing to do with a curse, because it was way too many things that were bad or not for the greater good of the program. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it wasn't like you mean that they weren't operating at like maximum capacity and stuff just happened, right?
Right. That's what a curse is. It's not that you're, you know, all levels, upper management and, you know, administration and on the field, like nothing was going well. You know what I mean? Nothing was going consistent. That's not a curse, man. That's just bad business. You know what I mean? So, DB, did you like The Godfather?
Yeah, I liked 1 and 2. I didn't really care for the third one. But
yeah, that's pretty consistent.
Probably because I couldn't figure out how all of a sudden Talia Shire, you know, his sister, like just usurped power. Like she just all of a sudden she was low key running the show, and I was like, wait a minute, what did I miss?
Because remember, DB in 1 and 2, she stayed back, man. They converted her, man. They killed her husband. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they did that early.
No. That was in 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in 2. So remember, they were together in 1. They killed him in 2, but it was towards the end. Remember, in 2, she said, "Hey, Michael, I'm here for you now." She was down on her knees when Kay left her, his wife. She was like, "Hey, I'm here for you now, Michael." So that was part of her turn in the 3. Like she was gonna do whatever. She was all in on the family. You know what I mean? In the business, and whether it was killing or whatever it was, you know, she went all in at that time. So hopefully that helps you on why she ended up being like that in 3. Watch the end of 2, man. Hey, she kissed the ring and said, "I'm all in."
Hey, one real quick. Were you
Plus, there was a quite a bit of a gap there too. I mean,
20 years.
Well, obviously.
Hey,
okay.
Were you a Wire guy?
Yes, but not at the time. When the series was over, I got on it probably about 2 or 3 seasons after it was after it came out. No, it was good, DB. Especially like you say, you can only get through like 8 episodes.
Yeah,
I think
it's like if I got on it right now, it would still be on episode 8.
Would ask you
resume watching, and it would be about 34 minutes and 36 seconds.
You are silly, but hey, no, man, it's really good, especially because each season isn't about like it's not Stringer Bell and who's the other B&B Barksdale. Like it wasn't just about them through the whole series. They really touch on a lot of different things within the like the scheme of drugs and things. But man, they go through a season of education through kids at school. The docs, like who are the docs people that, you know, on the shipping, like, you know, unionist type stuff, like they really, you know, in the city and politics. So BB, that's something, I think if you enjoyed it, or if you didn't enjoy it, hey man, fight through, get through at least season 2. So, like, it switches up a lot, but it still has the base of, you know, the drug scene. But man, it's actually really good, man. I give it props. And Game of Thrones as well. Like you said, you're into that. There's a couple seasons in Game of Thrones where you're kind of like,
don't watch
or maybe one. Yeah, you can't. One season when it was this dude.
Okay. Don't tell me.
I'm just saying the dude.
Spoiler alert.
This dude was off the chain, man. Like one of the seasons, this character is off the chain. It's like, all right, man, let's get through this guy. He's on some way other different stuff.
I may go see Dungeons and Dragons. All right, buddy, man. Enjoy the weekend.
See you, Lance.
Hey, print the internet, you old man. Print your IMDb and so you can read it. Come on, man.
Yeah. I didn't know
the
DB
internet
has a
out
printer.
here.
Do you have a printer?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't have a printer. I think we do. I just don't know if we've set it up.
See, I've always had a printer in the box.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it does come in handy though sometimes. Like sometimes I want to print game notes.
Yeah, that would help.
But then I'm always like,
For
I can always
broadcasting.
go up to the school,
But see, then it's an extra trip, and for convenience, is it
You
better?
are-
Making moves out here.
you already know.
Mike Schaefer coming up at 7:30. We'll talk to him more about his reaction to everything that was said yesterday and plus some, you know, after the first week of spring and all the way through the second week of spring football. We will also chat with Kevin Fielder. Kevin Fielder, you're probably like, who's Kevin Fielder? Well, if you didn't know who FAU was, they are in the Final Four, and Kevin Fielder covers them. We'll talk to him at 8:45.
Quick hits.
We have our guy, Mike Sautter. We'll see how mad he is at 9 o'clock.
Or who he's mad at.
Who he's mad at. And 9:45, Gavin Keef. He is covering. Would you consider UConn like the team people don't want to win?
I think they're the least likable.
Okay.
Right? Like, I'm not sure everybody's kind of endeared themselves to Hurley, but I mean, it's a really good basketball.
Probably
I
the
remember when
most
we first
balanced team.
When we were first doing this show, I was like, it's the best team in basketball.
They were once, 2 in the nation?
Yeah. Well, they were 1. Like 16 now.
Are they the most business? Like,
I don't know.
They're balanced. They are the most balanced team left.
well, like FAU seems to have a chip on their shoulder. Like, hey, it's us against the world. Where
Miami's a little slighted, even though Larnaga's his track record since
George Mason
is unbelievable.
Electric offense. They are electric.
So I mean, Omier, he's going to be a handful for Sonogo and that front court. There's some weird matchups for that, but conversely, Miami has to guard UConn too. So we got to sprinkle in some baseball too.
We've got a big chunk of that.
I think my Cy Young pick goes today.
Set up right around the 8 o'clock hour. So
and my NL MVP is off to a not good start.
I'll tell you what. I will give you my Rookie of the Year picks. One's probably obvious because it's me, but the other one you're going to be like, huh.
I didn't pick either one of those guys, I'm guessing.
That is probably a good guess. Hey, our poll question of the day is, what was your favorite MJ Sherman line from the press conference yesterday? I've got $1 million friends. Tell him I love him. Or Chief is my sunlight. Rich, by the way, thanks for commenting on YouTube and staying involved. We said sunlight because that's what MJ Sherman said, not sunshine, like it is in the actual song.
Right.
Mike Schaefer, up next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes.
Right now, we're all learning.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes.
He's showing that he's physical. That's the first thing we look for. All our guys that stand up.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
All our guys that stand up can put their hand in the dirt. You know, Prince Will can do both. MJ Sherman can do both. Jamari can do both. So, you know, Maverick Noonan, we have a lot of guys that can line up at linebacker, line up at DN, you know, and sometimes bump down to 3 technique where Kai Wallen has done it, Prince Will have done it, which they probably never done in the past. So, you know, and they're tough enough to do it. So right now, that's what we're trying to do.
Hey, welcome back to the show. 888-638-4876. If you'd like to get involved, it's Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. Catch us on 590 ESPN Omaha. We are live on Twitter. We are live on YouTube. That's always what DB and I like to push just in case we're a little off time. Although I think over the last 2 days, we've been pretty good at hitting our breaks. So I'm going to give us a little pat on the back. I don't want to be too.
Sometimes it's not on us, though, right? If a question, I mean, you could start a question with like 4 minutes to go and it runs over.
that is true.
So I'm just saying. Are you a Knighton guy? I'm a Knighton guy. He doesn't say much, but he's not a fake tough guy either. He's like most D-line guys, takes his guys in the corner and they just fight it out. Not super social. It's like all the bigs, O-line likes their guys. They don't like anybody messing with their guys. And D-line, they're the same way. They don't like anybody messing with their guys. Because Donnie gets it in. He is pretty intense.
I like Knighton too. I like him from the sense of he knows what he wants to accomplish, and he doesn't beat around the bush. He's like, no, we're gonna get off the ball. Yeah. Like that's the way I want to play. We're gonna get off the ball. Mike Schaefer joining us now on the show. Mike Schaefer, as he does every Friday.
Mike J.
We appreciate him as always. Nebraska football and recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. I was listening anxiously there. Damon asked if you were a Knighton guy, and I put it at about 99% that you were going to be yes, but I wanted to know what that 1% no was going to sound like. On a coach that we've never seen coach before that just had his second media appearance. I was very intrigued to just have you come out real strongly and be like, yeah, I didn't enjoy his NFL career. I don't care that.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't give you
his time
much.
At Wagner wasn't great. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, like is that code for how would we know? But Schaefer, like he doesn't give you a ton.
No, he's not a big talker.
But I think that's how he wants his guys too.
It could be. I mean, I'll tell you this: the recruits love him. I mean, he connects with them, whether he wants to stand up in front of the media and say a lot. Different thing than what he presents himself with the recruits, because they view this as a guy that they'll go to war for. I mean, they're like Elijah Judy and those guys that joined in December when he was kind of just getting started. They spoke so highly of Terrence Knighton that I expect him to be an asset in recruiting. And I don't say this in any kind of like sound the alarms kind of way. But I also think Matt Rule has his next defensive line coach in Philip Simpson ready to go on the off chance that not only is Terrence Knighton very good at what he does, that he's very desired by someone else or goes to the NFL pretty quickly. So I think that they have something set up there pretty quickly, and I think that Terrence Knighton's going to do quite well.
I'm inclined to agree. It's pretty astute.
Hey, what about MJ Sherman's personality? When you got a chance to just stand next to him, ask him some things, something that I thought was very telling, very interesting was when he said, the scary part about leaving Georgia was if I'd ever find that again, if I'd ever find like coaches like that were at Georgia. And, I may be thinking way too far into his response, but Mike, I'm gonna ask you this: do you think that's more of a quote about relationships, or do you think it's more of a literal quote that translates to success and wins and losses?
I don't know. I mean, I think if everything had worked out how MJ Sherman had planned, he'd still be at Georgia. Like I don't mean that as any kind of like slight towards anybody. But I think it's one of those things where life happens and he had to adjust. And, I thought he was very open and almost vulnerable about the challenges of, everyone thinks that the transfer portal is this big, happy sunshine thing. And instead, if you're listening closely, he's basically telling you he had to pick a team and he based it off of just a gut feel. He based it off of what he heard from Matt Rule and the fact that it looked like there was going to be some playing time. That's it. Like that's, he's not like a guy that's got 4 years left and is going to spend a lot of time somewhere. He wanted to go somewhere where he could play, feel like he was going to get developed and have the opportunity to have personal success and have that achieved with team success. And he talked about the anxiety that he had, leading up to showing up in Nebraska. Totally different place. And so I thought it was really sort of an interesting look because so often you talk to these guys in the transfer portal and you kind of get what I would call kind of canned responses where it's, yeah, I visited Nebraska and I had everything I wanted and, we've been thrilled. And some of that might be true, but anyone that started a new job understands like the challenge mentally of, did I do this right? Like, am I in the right spot? Did I make the right decision? And I think that he was going through that a little bit early on. And then he obviously talked about how he feels very comfortable now where he's at. He's developed a relationship with Jamari Butler and Chief Borders that I think makes him feel pretty close with guys on the team. He really likes Rob Dvorak, the linebackers coach, who seems to have really impressed people over the weekend too with the visit weekend. And then obviously he talked about how he just put his blind faith in Matt Rule. That conversation he had with Matt Rule on his visit in January is ultimately what helped lead to Nebraska. And so I came away just really, impressed by how thoughtful he was and how vulnerable he was willing to be in a way that we don't see very often. And that doesn't mean that he's going to go out and have like an 85 tackle, 10 sack season by any means. But I think that it shows someone that's pretty mature and gives you a glimpse as to how difficult this life really is. I mean, that guy basically had to leave the two-time defending national championship program because he wasn't going to play there, like at the level that he wanted to. That has to be a tough pill to swallow. That has to be really tough. And so for him to have the interview that he did, and really I felt like the positive outlook that he has for both Nebraska and himself personally, I thought it was really telling and really interesting and probably the most, I guess, both fun and interested I've been during any of these interviews so far throughout spring.
Schaefer, what'd you make of kind of the quiet Polynesian pipeline that they had on campus this weekend? I mean, it caught me off guard. I saw Mania Brown and obviously Damon and those guys, but I mean, you could tell it's intentional.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it has been pre Donovan Raiola. I mean, Tony Tuioti was certainly attempting to lay the groundwork for this. You go back to Tavita Thompson and Mike Riley. And the efforts that they immediately tried to put into Hawaii and out in California and Idaho and Oregon and Utah. I mean, so this has been a thing for as long as we've been joking about the St. Louis Bermuda Triangle. I mean, both of these things have been what Nebraska has tried to do for a while and just has not resulted in the kind of results that you want for the effort that's being put in. But I definitely think that Donovan Raiola is a big asset there. I mean, he has really worked hard, I think, in Utah, probably more under the radar than we know. I mean, he put in a lot of effort last year with guys like Junior Sia and some other players that didn't end up visiting. He really put in effort for 2024 and 2025. They had that, obviously, the whole school came out here for this last weekend. I mean, so they're really kind of pushing. But it's a tough, it's going to take more than just one. Like you just have to continually bring in multiple Polynesian players to kind of develop that as a thing that can happen in your community. And then the Lincoln community almost has to have a development where it's very embracing of the Polynesian culture. Like I know this sounds weird to hear. It's weird to say out loud, but it's absolutely true in terms of the number of guys that Mike Kavanaugh or Tony Tuioti or whoever would be at the inch line to land a commitment. And then they would ultimately default back to, I loved it out there and just feel more comfortable around my people. Yeah. And it had nothing to do with Nebraska beyond that. And so if they can get over that hump, I think it would help them tremendously.
Well, Schaefer, I'm sorry that I disappointed you throughout this
1%
segment. I didn't hit the 1% that you were looking for, but we appreciate you. You're that 1% we needed today. I'll still compliment you.
Schaefer,
after all of that.
You do good work, man. You beat a lot of guys to the punch. That's impressive.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Maybe I'll get to watch my baseball team sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see if MLB TV will let me in Nebraska.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, I hate
crazy.
Blackouts. I'm with you, man.
Thanks, Dave.
See you guys.
Bye. Mike Schaefer, Nebraska football and recruiting for 24/7 Sports at Mike J. Schaefer on Twitter.
They got goose egg by a great one though last night.
Yeah, they did.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, they did. You guys almost lost to the Diamondbacks after 2 innings.
Yeah, almost.
More CNC next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds.
I'm not really sure.
Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
I'm not really sure. I just gotta really control the things I control, like just like practicing hard every day. Last year, like it was just, it was a lot of stuff going on. So all I could do as a player is really just go hard and practice. And when they do put me in those positions, I gotta be ready for it. Obviously I didn't like it, but I was never saying nah, denying the coaching. You know what I'm saying? I got to do what I can do. I can only control what I control. So that's what it was.
Omar Manning would be the ideal person to have a lie for you to your parents. Why? Because he'd tell the best story. Because he'd add in so many details that were unnecessary to get the story across. Like I don't know. No, we didn't decide to go to that store because it just really wasn't for us. We weren't really feeling that today. You would add in too many details.
Omar's coming. Omar's coming.
No wonder Shane is playing so many clips of him.
He
loves him.
He does. That's the first thing he said to me today. Well, maybe he said no. He said, Damon,
good morning.
No, he didn't say good morning. He said, what's up? And I go,
what's up?
And he mumbled. He mumbled through something, mumble-okey. And I said, what'd you say? And he goes, you want to know who my favorite player is? I got a new favorite. You want to know who Then he gets up from out of the little.
Who was the old favorite?
The birdcage thing. And he goes,
Cam Taylor-Britt.
Yeah. And he goes, he reminds me of my guy. He's playing in the NFL now. He's kind of talked. And for whatever the reason, I just said Cam Taylor-Britt. He goes, yeah. He goes, man, I like Omar. And then we just got into
on the Omar train.
Yep. And he just kept playing it over and over and over again. Because you can hear the cut-ups, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are you doing? Just listening to my new favorite player. That's cool.
You go listening to Omar?
A lot of people had high hopes for Omar when he transferred a year ago. Had some things that he had to overcome academically and some other things. And he's kind of a tweener. I think he's more of a back end guy than he is a corner.
Mm-hmm.
But he could really play in like the nickel will. He's a good tackler. He's going to be interesting.
I think he's one of those safety too.
He's one of those chess pieces that they like to move.
Well,
and he fits some guys that they've coached before.
Yeah, he's a football head. Yeah. And Coach Cooper likes football heads. It's something that we were talking about a little bit on Monday. He likes people that are ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Why does he like Caleb so much? Because Caleb has been taught from whatever age it was with you how to be ahead of the next person. And so, even during drill work over the weekend, he was saying what it was
same foot,
same shoulder. And didn't Coop turn around and be like, what do you know about same foot, same shoulder?
Yeah, he did. They were just kind of mumbling back and forth about same foot, same shoulder. And we talk about it all the time. We try to be a good tackling team, especially out in space. And he's just done it. If there's one thing he's probably known for, I think is number one, he's got great hands. Like he can high point, he can go get a ball playing in the secondary, but he's a hitter. Like he's a really good tackler. So he's been doing that since he didn't play in the secondary until last year. He was a linebacker his whole life. He'd never played in the secondary, Caleb, ever.
Until like
in between his ninth grade
noticed. Just his ability to be a quarterback on defense.
No, he was 160 pounds.
Or
he could play linebacker.
Size in high school. Is the big.
No, actually, it's probably Coach Frank. He's like, I want to make him a corner, and I was like, I don't think he's a corner. He's a safety. He's like, we got to get him on the field. He's a corner. I was like, okay, I guess he's a corner. But
is he a corner or safety still in your mind?
He's a safety.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, they measured him. He was 187 the other day, so that he's growing.
Yeah,
may have to. I'm thinking about getting his adenoids out because he's already had his tonsils and adenoids out, and they grew back. Yeah, so he's always got something going. Remember, I had to take him to get his X-rays yesterday.
Yeah,
his adenoids grew back.
Oh man, that must be miserable.
Yeah, he's miserable. He had a decent workout last night. He was at Warren. But with Coop, it's like with teaching and you get a guy like Omar. It's why he likes Hartzog. Just really savvy, smart, tough guys. And he's such a technician. Everything that he does, like when you watch him instruct, he's all about hands and feet. A lot of these DB guys, they usually talk a lot about your eyes, and I'm sure he does. But he's a hands and feet guy all the way. Hands and feet. And again, he's quietly confident. He doesn't go out of his way to be super social. He's about business. Like, I think he truly loves football. He strikes me, and I don't know this to be a fact, but he strikes me as the type of guy that just immerses himself in film.
Malcolm or Coach?
Coop.
Okay.
Like, that's so if you're like that, like if you like stuff like that, I think you guys can, I think they can hit it off, which is why I think he likes guys like Omar and Malcolm.
I think he's a real coach's coach. You're talking about a guy that talks trash to his guys. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of the story you were telling about Solich yesterday, about how like he would get on you, maybe talk a little trash to you guys to really like maybe infuriate you on the inside to bring the best out of you.
And Coop's a little guy, so he's not having it, right? He's kind of got that.
He likes to rattle people up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens when you're rattled, right? What does that inherently do? It sparks violence, which is a big word that they've been using this week, and effort. Because even when I was, criticized playing sports, it would always make me want to try harder because I didn't want that to happen again. Same thing with you. Mm-hmm. You didn't want to get kicked in the bum again.
It's funny, right? I always like to listen to practical applications. Okay. And again, hear my heart. I'm not saying that what I do is always correct when it comes to coaching, but I do look for like things that overlap. Right. So what do they talk about all the time? They talk about violent hands, violent physicality, violent contact. And I told you we had one of our meetings, and they're in a defensive meeting now, but we had one of our meetings last week where I said it was all about terminology, right? We wanted to be on the same page. Hey, is everybody okay with this? Is everybody okay with this? Is everybody okay with this? Coach Amanji, he put his hands on the desk, and there's only a couple of his defensive guys in there. And he goes, are we okay? Get this now, right? We're a year and some change. And he goes, because one of our things is violently destroy blocks. He goes, are we okay with the term violently destroying blocks? And I thought he was thinking like it's too many words or it's not catchy or whatever.
But by using the term violent.
Yeah. He didn't think we were very violent. So he didn't want to use it. He goes, are you sure? And he's kind of leaving it up to, so we're talking, we're like, yeah, we want to use it. And he said, okay, well, we better do it because I don't want to say it and not do it. And I was like, wow, like this is what we're on today. But it was sobering because I get it, because just Wednesday or Thursday, Coach Rule goes, we're not going to say anything just to be saying it. Like if our kids aren't vibing with what we're saying and what we're preaching and better yet, what we're doing, we're wasting our time. He said, we're absolutely wasting our time. And all I could think of was, man, like these guys that like want to win at the utmost, they're constantly critiquing real time what's going on. Like we were almost getting ready to get called out for using a term that we don't do. And at the very end, Coach, when we're talking, he goes, let's just not get in the habit of saying things to be saying it.
Let's not be fake.
And I was like, man, I looked at Coach Queen and I was like, okay. Like it could make you feel a little, I mean, you got to self-check, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, are we not coaching this? Are we not coaching this? And he's like, don't say it if we're not going to do it. If you want to keep it in the lexicon, then you better make it happen. All right, man.
Sounds good. We're going to do that.
So that's why I love the consistency of the message. And Avery, bless her heart, she was fantastic. And I'm not just hyping her up because she's ours.
Did good work.
But those are hard to do, right? She's got her own video. She's editing. She's talking over the video. And she just the terminology, like I was vibing right away. And when you get other people, Sautter sent me the clip. He's like, man, he cusses. So he's like, she's pretty effing good. And, Nick Baugh, he's like, man, she's talented.
And Nick Baugh doesn't comment on
he's
a lot
not
of
that
things on
dude.
Twitter.
Yeah, he's not that dude,
when
right?
I saw that, I'm like,
even if he likes something
recognizes greatness.
He's followed Knucklehead forever. He doesn't say anything to him publicly on Twitter. He just sends private messages. Hey, DB, so I'm, this, that, and the-" like he's not a public affirmation guy. So when he said that, but anyway, like what she was talking about is, she was like, hey, what you keep hearing throughout the course of practice is this, this, and this. And then she would show clips, and it was basically echoing what she was saying, right? Things that we think are simple, but not a lot of people do when they cover the sport, right? And it's intentional. Like she's picking up on the fact that it is intentional. When they don't get a drill done right, remember I said it's built-in accountability? They simply say this right here. Was that violent? Was that dominant? Was that violent?
And if it wasn't, run it back.
So when you hear the question, you know if it is or not. You're going on a 1v1 drill tackling. Man, if you don't hear pads crack, you can't answer yes to that question, right? So then it's like you do it again. It's just built-in accountability.
Violence, urgency, technicality, it's what they're all about.
Man, their tempo is tough too. They move.
When we come back, we'll change gears. We'll talk baseball. A little MLB opening day. That's next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
As Rodriguez kicks and offers. Swinging a high fly ball. Deep left field. Headed toward the wall. Gone! Jose Siri does start the Rays off. A leadoff homer. 1-0 Tampa Bay in the third.
Opening day was a hit. If you were on the winning side, not for me. Nope, I got to watch the St. Louis Choke Artists go at it. It reminded me a little bit of the playoffs last year.
Hey,
when they played the Phillies, and let's just say they were winning, and all of a sudden in the ninth inning, they were losing.
Yeah, so I'm doing the Fubo 7-day trial.
Even though Fubu.
No, that's one.
Fubo?
Yeah.
Fubu?
Yep, Bo. So this is Bo.
Like Polini?
Correct.
Got it.
There's like a 7-day free trial. And the interface looks a lot like YouTube TV. But anyway, they're doing MLB packages. Because right now you have to wait it out a little bit. And I don't really need to with kind of my setup. But I do want to get it on my phone. So I'm kind of waiting through MLB to like lower their prices. Right now, I think it's $24.99 a month. But anyway, for MLB package. So, but Fubo has a 7-day free trial. So I'm rolling. We got multi-window. I said we, like there's nobody watching baseball with me.
Sometimes you probably wish that you were by yourself. I know you like to just sit by yourself and watch games.
Hey, man, seriously. Last night, bad parenting moment, man. Caleb was like, hey. He's like, hey, man, you want to go to Warren Academy with me? I was like, bro, it's at 7:30. I don't. I'm sorry. But listen, so I'm going back and forth basically all day. Not all day, probably from like 2:30 after I got Zoe, so like 3 on. And I'm watching this Cardinals game because it started late, right? So I'm multi-facing, so I'm going over to another game, then I'm coming back. What the heck happened between No, I'm dead dog serious.
And I know the question you're gonna have.
What the heck happened between the 6th and the top of the 9th? It was like
the scoring
back
change.
and forth every inning. It was an answer. I was like, I thought it was like, I thought they were messing with me.
Well, bats were alive, and there was no.
I mean, not to be outdone by the Rangers and Phillies,
right? There was no shortage of runs, but I thought these games were supposed to be quicker. Like I thought.
Well, the average time was extremely fast.
Yeah, I know.
I think
kidding.
What was the average time? Like 2:49 yesterday?
Was that what
I think it was? I think it was 2:48, 2:49, yeah. And in last year it was about 3:16 on opening day.
Yeah, Ryan Helsley got a ball called on him for not meeting the pitch clock at one point.
Hey, so imagine if there wasn't the Blue Jays, Cardinals, and Rangers, Phillies. Which, by the way, if you're looking at Nola and DeGrom, you're like,
yep. Well, Nola had like a no-hitter going through 5, and then all of a sudden it just blew up in his face.
Yeah. He reminds me a lot of like, and he's a better pitcher, so forgive me. He reminds me a lot of like an AJ Burnett or
I think that's doing him a disservice.
A Kevin Brown. Like when they get hit, balls leave the yard. Like they get hit. You don't just kind of dink and dunk.
I can see it. I can see that portion of it a little bit.
But anyway, and then in the meantime, I was watching. So it's like 5:40. And trying to do like red beans and rice. By the way, I sent Severe a picture. He didn't even comment. Man, I wonder if that's code for it. It looked like it sucked.
I wouldn't eat it.
I wonder. Wait a minute. What are you about?
I could see Michael Severe doing that.
You eat friggin' Stouffer's entrees, man. Like
I'm not saying
frozen meals.
I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I'm just laughing at. I mean, I could totally see.
Yeah, zero comment.
Just looking at his watch because he gets it on his watch and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not commenting on that."
Yeah, he is tough like that. So, and it's 5:40, and I'm listening to introductory lineups for the White Sox and Astros. I'm like, it's 20-some minutes till they pitch. Like, get off of this set.
I have a bone to pick with the Astros too. First off, I'm
those
not,
uniforms are sweet though. I hate the Astros, but
and I'm with you there. And then they really dug dirty by coming out with Clydesdales yesterday. Like, oh yeah, because that's you guys, like in a nutshell. You just like to steal things from other people. You like to steal signs and you like to steal tradition. Like, you don't come out with Clydesdales and Budweiser beer.
Would you stop?
Who comes out with Clydesdales and Budweiser beer?
You mad?
One team.
You mad?
One team come. Yeah, because it's the Astros. Like,
I'm very hurt right now.
if the Cubs would have done it too, I would have been mad. Like, the teams that I hate can't do that. You can't do that.
Why are you yelling?
I'm actually mad at like all other 31 teams.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
Tell him, Shane, he can't say that.
I mean,
They got a pickle on the chicken sandwich.
they just like to steal things. We get it. I guess you guys
here
were
we
banging
go.
trash cans on the way out too.
Here we go.
No, beside that,
Is that what they call them now?
I think I got some audio from
trash
that.
cans.
I'm kidding. I don't even think I can say that.
It's fine.
Sorry, back in St. Louis.
It's
Pardon, what?
fine.
What'd you say, Shane?
I just saying I think I got some audio on that when they were stealing the signs.
Hey, Welvin is still alive, man. I don't know who falsely reported he was dead, but he's alive. He's probably drunk in Vegas as we speak. They see him on the strip all the time.
Would you hang out with him?
Welvin the Great?
Yeah.
No.
Not even for like if it was like noon or something. I mean, just
Well,
early in the
like
day?
if it was
Are you
just
drinking high noons?
if we I have testosterone, thank you. Ooh, can I say that? Me neither. Shane, if it was like, I'm wild. If it was just us, like I'm not gonna go out on this because he commands so much attention.
Who,
And
Burrs?
No, Welvin the Great. And I'm not into like just yucking it up. But yeah, I would hang out with him.
Our guy Travis on YouTube popping in. So Travis is Dallas Travis on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he's
And
funny. Husker follower.
Yeah, he's a huge Colorado Rockies fan, and he goes less loser Astro talk and more NL West divisional leader Colorado Rockies talk.
Hey, listen, did you tell? I was cheering for them last night, so I'm so childish, and you know it's one of 162. So at the same time, the Dodgers are down 2-0, and you're pissed because Julio's giving up runs in the first inning with your degenerate bet.
Oh gosh,
I'm watching the Rockies. I'm watching the Rockies jump on the Padres, and I'm like, this is totally me. I'm like, yeah, in my head. It's a great place to live. You should try it. I'm like, yeah.
I don't want to.
Dodgers, if you're gonna lose, Padres suck it. Go ahead, fathers, lose. Like, as if it's not opening day, right? But I'm
right.
I'm still kind of high because the Pens got 2 points over the Preds. So I'm like, yeah, bro, get in the
Were you
playoffs.
taking edibles like Burrs?
Yeah, can you believe just my man just casually was like, no, man, I just drink vodka and pop edibles. And I was like, wait, what? What? Anyway, yeah, like the Rockies suck and they won't get anybody out, but
the Rockies suck. It's because it's so true.
But for the time being, man, kick the fathers' butts.
Did you see that they traded away a piece of that Nolan Arenado trade?
Yeah, listen. So I don't know if they're like trying to stack chips just so they can go out and acquire someone, but who's coming to Colorado?
Somebody that wants to hit home runs.
It's got to be an offensive guy, but that's not really what they need to get it popping.
They're going to kill Shohei Ohtani's career.
Nobody can do that.
Dude, why would you shop that guy, though?
Because he's just not good, DB. Why would you want one of the best in baseball and one of the best hitters in baseball?
Don't joke with me because I don't love him. I do not.
Shohei is
whatever.
Real.
Whatever.
His numbers in a 4-5 year span are unmatched. Incredible, especially in this day and age.
Yeah. Anthony Rendon had a good 2 years too.
We're not talking 2 years. We already doubled that.
Listen, but he hasn't had a great 4 years. He's had a great 2.5 years. To be a well, shoot, one of those years you only play like 44 games. And I bet you I nailed the number. Like I'm a nerd. Like, come on. Like,
here we go.
I'm telling you, one of the seasons he only played like 44. Another one he played like 119. Like we've totally like we act like. Listen, he's a stud. I get it, but it's like 2.5 years. It ain't 4.
Anytime you play over 100 games.
Oh, you're doing something?
Anytime.
Stop.
He's doing some good things.
Stop. Like, what are the numbers? Give them to me. Games played. Give them to me.
I'll take it.
In 5 years or each year?
Each year.
104, 106, and then you got the 44 right.
Okay, yes.
And then 155 and 157.
Yeah, listen, so it's about 2.5 years
So
worth of good work.
He won Rookie of the Year. He was an MVP. He was a Cy Young winner, and he was an MVP.
Yeah.
In 5 years?
How many years did I just say was worth of good work? 2.5 of those years. 2 3/4.
I'd give him 3 years at least.
That's fine. Stretch it. I don't want to hate. Like, I just don't. I'm just pumping the brakes.
So you don't think he's worth the money he's going to ask for, or
Dude,
that he's going to get?
I asked you yesterday if I read it right because I didn't commit it to memory, but I knew I just saw it with my bad eyes.
You committed.
I'm like
it to memory.
65 mil with endorsements this year.
Mm-hmm.
65 mil.
It's about 64 million and
let's just say
940,000 more than I'll make
for poops and giggles. He signs like a Bryce Harper deal, right? A 10-year deal. That would be $650 million. Even I can do that math. There's no way.
Carry the 2.
There's no way.
Hold on.
I know I suck at math, but it's okay. I can memorize
there
numbers.
it is.
So, I mean, listen, I want the Rockies to win all the games they can, especially if it's against the Fathers.
Well,
hey, but can I just get to something real quick before we talk about our picks? Why, if you liked, because you are a degenerate, but you're not going to steal my buddy Aaron's name. You know that's what he's in my phone as.
Yes.
Just
like Asian Wyatt probably is in your phone like
is
that.
Asian Wyatt. Correct. So that's why sometimes I can't find people because have you ever seen me scroll through the numbers? I was like, gosh, what do I call him? Like what?
Yeah. And
sometimes
when you get to J Jerkface, that's how you know it's me.
You're AR-15. Capital A, capital R-15 in my phone. Anyway.
It's because I look 15.
Yes. Damn it.
Say it again, my bad.
Exactly. Omar. HBO, man. The Wire. Help a brother out. I forgot what I was going to say.
We were talking about the Rockies, and then you were like, hey, before we get to our picks.
I got to ask you this, though. For somebody that wanted to do first inning unders because they wanted to be done, when you showed me your ticket, the games were so spread apart. Doesn't that defeat the purpose?
So no.
You had early games and you had the latest game.
And I can completely understand that. My thing was when you get it out of the way, you can check the game and then you can move on from the game.
Oh,
so
not the duration
like the actual
of the wager.
Duration or the time or when they come. I go matchup based and I go offense based. So like if it's a bad offense, I'm like more times than not, even if the pitchers aren't too great, they can probably get 3 outs in the first inning.
Yeah, opening day, you pretty much see studs though.
And that's why I said this should be the time that you get a lock. I had 3 of them right. We get to the 9 o'clock slate. All of a sudden, Zach Gallen and Julio Urias on the bump. Gallen gets out. Urias decides, hey, I'm going to suck for the first 2 innings. He's dead to me.
I can't believe you text. I can't believe you text me that. With the expletive in parentheses, but said expletive.
Right.
I'm like, you've already pissed me off. You might as well just say the F word. I was already mad. I was like, why are you down on Julio? But then when you showed me why, because they had just tied as soon as you sent that, they had just made it 2-2.
Right. So you're welcome.
Well, I was like, what's he mad at?
And then you realized.
Yeah. So
if I'm mad at a player, it always comes back to betting.
Does it?
Always.
You're
unless it's my team.
You're who T.O.'s talking about.
Unless it's my team.
That's why he doesn't want local gambling because he thinks.
But I don't bet on the locals.
Well, you ain't won any money on the Cardinals. You didn't take the over.
Well, so I bet on my teams, but I don't bet on the teams I cover. Remember?
Oh yeah, good call. That's smart. That's smart.
Because I don't want to be mad.
Yes, it was, Coach.
I don't want to be mad at the team that I talk about every day, the players that we interact with every day.
No, I hear you. I'm not mad at you.
Now, okay, so we decided a couple of days ago that we were going to go through. Go ahead.
Steve's going to be mad at you.
What'd he say?
He's looking forward to his Bruins. They won the President's Trophy. I told him good luck with that because those guys don't hoist the cup. He's like, home ice, baby.
Let him have it.
Oh, little Avs fan.
Hey,
how you doing?
Let Boston have it.
This is the year of breaking curses. We talked about it yesterday.
He's funny.
Now the Bruins are doing it too.
He's good with his GIF game.
Now, okay, so we talked 2 days ago that we were going to go through who we thought would win the Cy Young, MVP, World Series, all that jazz. And so we're going to do that now. Before we get into that, though, your divisional winner in the AL East is who? Because I am going to use the team that did it last year. I'm going to get
my AL East divisional winner is the New York Yankees.
I love how you hold it so close to your face because you're trying to make out the chicken scratch.
Bro, and it's in pencil.
Yeah, you are probably the only man above 40 that I know that uses a pencil.
I don't even know enough to debate that, so I'm just going to eat it. Maybe you're right.
I like the Yankees. I think their record's going to stay even, though. So they went 99-63 last year.
I'm not predicting records.
I think it's going to be about the same. I'm not.
But I'll give you a couple teams I think are going to be over and under the total, though.
But I think the Blue Jays, the Rays, the Orioles, and Red Sox will all drop in win total.
Okay, so let's do it like this. Let's do division winners, and then we'll do wild cards.
Go for it.
And we'll stay in the AL. Yep. We'll do the AL first.
So Yankees, AL East. When you go to the AL Central, who do you like?
I took the Cleveland Guardians.
I did as well.
That's unfortunate.
And I actually have them dropping 7 games from last year to this year.
So what? So are you using like Pacoda? Like what? Like
yeah. I looked at a bunch of projections. And then I just crafted my own opinion based off of it. Okay. So I have them going 85 and 77. I think they have steady pitching. Who doesn't love themselves some Bieber? They added not just Bieber, Shane.
Got out pitched yesterday.
Josh Bell and Mike Zunino. He did get out pitched yesterday. Good veteran pieces. I'm just hoping that Jimenez continues to thrive like he did last year.
I'll tell you why I need the Guardians to be good at what they do later on. How about that? In about 5 minutes. You're gonna see a theme.
Yep. Okay.
You're gonna see a theme in both
the AL West. I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm ticked at them. I'm ticked at them on most days. The Astros.
Remember, you'd rather be right more than you're well liked.
The Astros coming in at 90 and 72. I have them dropping 16 games this year.
Yeah, stands to reason.
No Justin Verlander.
Yeah. Well, that young they just keep cranking them out. In that system, it's like Valdez breaks on the scene last year, and it's like, oh, I think this guy's going to be pretty good. And a year later, he's their opening.
Now all their hitters pan out. Like they haven't had a hitter recently that hasn't.
And they get Abreu, still wearing that lousy 79.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Good number, right?
Like
great baseball number.
Shane, what was that diss track? Was it Pusha T? He's talking about Drake's son's mom, and he was like. Yeah, and he said it on the track. It sounded like he truly ate a bad Brussels sprout or something. Like I was like,
it wasn't Megan Thee Stallion.
No, listen. That's not that. Like, first of all, I hate white jeans. Second of all, stop faking like you don't know where to throw the gosh darn ball. Like, what?
Where do I throw it?
Yeah, cut it out.
Like, who do I throw it to?
You're just doing too much.
Well, she stood out there for at least a minute.
Yeah, well,
at least
she had to have people look at her. But how about the Astros going there though? With making these stuff, the parents are in the stands with their kiddos on opening day, like it's just genes. Sometimes people are built like that. It's
Tommy, close your eyes.
No big deal. We are not objectifying people.
Timmy,
look away.
Timmy, look away.
Stop it, Timmy. But I can't put my glove down.
Not really.
Let me stop.
Man, that's a big ass dude.
Oh shoot! So we got the Yankees, the Guardians, and the Astros. Unfortunately, we agree on all three. Mm-hmm. Let's get to your 3 wild card teams.
Well, I'll go backwards up. Mariners are making the wild card.
Well, you get 3.
Right.
So let's just do all 3 wild cards now.
Okay.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Do you understand the words that are coming out?
Give me all 3 of your wild card teams.
Mariners, Blue Jays, and I was in between here, but I went with the Angels. I'm taking the Angels to be the last one in.
So we only have one difference. I'm taking the Mariners, the Blue Jays.
And I'm going to say you're taking the Twins.
Give me the Texas Rangers.
Really?
I'm going with the Rangers.
Wow.
Yes. I like something with the Fighting John Tallmans. I'm going with the Rangers.
Okay.
Is that, it's a little surprising.
We'll shift to the NL East first.
No, you don't want to stay here with the awards and the teams?
I thought we could just do
Okay,
that
let's
later.
do it. Hey, it's your show.
No, it's your show.
Well, coffee comes first.
It's our show.
Oh, that's so cute.
It enhances.
Hashtag 24 hours.
hashtag blessed. All right. Do you want to do the accolades first?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say yes to that then.
Oh, poop.
Your MVP in the AL goes to?
I got him winning the AL Central, so I'll have to ride with him. Give me Jose Ramirez.
I'm a Jose Ramirez guy too.
I think he has a monster.
And I tossed his name out subtly on Wednesday because I'm like, hey, watch out. This is going to be his year.
That's my guy.
He always kind of gets shafted in the end.
I know.
And I don't know what it is, if it's, hey, the team's underperforming, or it's, hey, he missed some time for X reason, but he always gets shafted in the end. But he's at the same time always top 5.
He's a machine. Give me Jose Ramirez, and the Guardians will not surprise, but they won't be the consensus favorite to win the division, so they will. So he'll get some love.
AL Cy Young,
easy. Give me Castillo. Luis,
man, he had such a piss poor year when he came over from the Reds. Oh my goodness, I had him in fantasy, and this guy just I drafted him so high.
Dude, P4 though, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Is your mom cool with you saying that?
Yeah, I think so.
Check with her.
Maybe not Bitsy. I should probably watch what I say. The niece. She funny story about her. Every time we go to break, she thinks I go to the bathroom because it's too hard to explain that.
Like,
hey,
where are you going?
Yeah, she thinks I go to the bathroom 4 times an hour.
So, all right, you're going with who?
Shohei Ohtani.
Oh,
and I'm going with Shohei.
Dude, your man crush is unbelievable. Do you do massages too? Man,
it's not Deshaun Watson. It's Shohei Ohtani. So Shohei, coming off of the big WBC performance, coming off the big 2 seasons, and he's about to get paid. It always happens in baseball when a player's about to get paid, they always perform to greatness. Marcell Ozuna, great example of that. Because then he fell off the map right after he got paid. So
can't make good decisions.
That too. I mean, we should have had an alarm clock giveaway at one point, but that's beside the point. Shohei Ohtani will win the AL Cy Young. Rookie of the Year.
I'm going with the O's, right? Because I like them as a team. So give me Gunnar Henderson.
Great pick. Favorite in the AL, but also one of the top prospects in baseball, if not the top. No, Corbin Carroll is number 2.
Well, he's in the NL. Oh, you mean overall?
Yeah, overall.
Oh, yeah.
So he is the top prospect, though, in the AL.
Did you see Adley Rutschman yesterday?
Oh, he can rake.
God,
he can rake.
And he's one of those guys that's kind of surefire. Like, everybody was like, oh, matter time for Adley. And once he started playing, 5 for 5. He's like, yeah, the hits are cool, but I like winning. Go ahead, then, Adley.
And I like when the Orioles win. They're
Me
a fun
too.
team to watch
I like them too.
My AL Rookie of the Year, Anthony Volpe, the shortstop in New York. He is the youngest shortstop to start a game, or youngest player.
Is he stealing bases? Does he have nice hair?
Jeter.
Does he have nice hair?
Since Derek Jeter.
Does he have a fan club?
Stop.
Did you see that yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it all.
Goodness.
I saw it all. It's because he's young. People like the young ones.
I get it.
We'll go to the NL after the break.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Welcome back to the show. Would you wash your hands?
No, I was just making fun of him with the internet. You know how it goes. Like, dang, man, I thought I cut that off.
Hey, can I do this real fast? Hold on. Wait, I don't have the vest, so I can't go underneath it like you.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to give yourself a little
calming tactic,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Welcome back to Coffee and Cream. We're having fun on a Friday. Are you having fun? We're talking baseball, and we are talking NL during this portion of the hour. When we go to break, we will talk to Kevin Fielder, FAU writer for Owls 24/7. We also have Mike Sautter on deck, and in the hole, trivia with DB, as he does every Friday. And if we don't get a caller, we have to go with Mike Sautter, which
it's weird because I hear about it on the streets all the time. So call. Like, you can win.
And it's easy to win.
Like, beat me?
Well, and 2 for you.
Oh.
I mean, you don't have to do a lot of work. Like, this game is hard. Like, trivia is hard.
Yeah,
but
it is hard.
If you think you're smarter than DB or you think you're smarter than the next person, like, just call in. You get answer choices. That's the best part about trivia.
Yeah.
You at home get the answer choices. DB does not.
Hey, how about me having to use my lifeline with the second question? 2 out of the last 3 weeks, though.
It was by default by me saying the answer choices last week. That was a mistake on my part.
I go back to the Texas Rangers in the ballpark.
Yeah, you just pulled that out of
out
of thin air.
Well, my buddy's a Rangers fan. Although I'm telling you, they're going to be good. I don't know why you like the Angels so much.
He's
no longer an Angel.
I am infatuated because Mike Trout is my favorite player.
Yeah.
So
I hope and I pray
and
that I make it someday.
I just want to see him back in the
Trout
playoffs.
will play more than 100. I hope and I pray that I make it. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
You're just banking on Mike Trout to play a lot of baseball games.
Yes, that. We have somebody that just texted me that listens. He goes, "Yeah, I'm going to make my roommate call."
Is he smart? Their questions are hard, so it's fair. Like, just don't Google. Like, don't be like the Google.
What kind of questions are?
Google it.
You're an idiot.
That's totally on me.
Hey, how about Doc saying on yesterday on Twitter that people are telling him he should start a podcast? If Doc Sadler started,
I don't recognize what we're doing.
If this guy did a podcast, did you see him the other day? He was before you got here. He was an assistant basketball coach and fan favorite, way out there. Like he's like Ed Foley on steroids. And he just got a bus.
Down by the river?
He bought a bus and he's looking for a name. It's the most Doc Sadler thing ever. It's he always
paint it on the side.
He always looks
like
disheveled and like he's just looks always disheveled and like he knows everybody. He's like the greatest storyteller ever. Like every podcast with Doc Sadler would be long form. He's like, "Hey, got any ideas on guests?" Doc, you know everybody. Right. This dude's been traveling the country for like 2 years.
That's amazing.
Everybody.
Well, I hope he takes a stop down here sometime.
Yeah,
maybe on a Friday.
He'll be back. He's beloved here.
Hey, on the NL side, we'll start in the NL East. Who is your pick to win?
This was tough because I think they'll get multiple. They'll be the West of a year ago.
Well, they'll be the AL West that we just talked about in regards to wild card.
Yeah, because you took 2 from there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 3 total.
3 total.
I agree.
Yep.
But give me the Braves to win it.
Same. Braves, 8 games below is what I have them, but they are – I talked about UConn earlier on being the most balanced team in the Final Four. This is the most balanced team in baseball.
I love their depth. They got a lot of ways they can beat you. They got 3 of the top hitters in succession in the lineup of almost anybody in baseball. Maybe your Cardinals belong in that discussion if you get anything from Walker because Goldschmidt and
he looked comfortable at the plate yesterday.
And Arenado should be tough.
Boy, how about that welcome he got? So you look at Jordan Walker, just size him up. How old is he?
Jordan Walker's 25 years old.
He is 20.
Looks like a full-fledged grown-up.
And that's what I'm saying.
So how's he going to be a corner infielder?
Well, he's playing right field right now. He's not going to play the corner until Nolan Arenado's gone. If he's going to be
forever. So just stay out there and be a corner outfielder or DH.
Right. And with the DH being universal now, it's easy.
Hey, by the way, the question you asked me yesterday about Byron Buxton, I'm already 1 to the good because he played. He didn't DH.
Let's go.
And he hit
what did I say? He was going to DH more than he played?
Yeah.
A position?
He said, would Byron take it or leave it? Byron Buxton DHs more than he plays.
Yeah, I don't think I said that on air, but yeah. That's great point. Great point. You're already you're in the win column.
He hit a triple.
Let's put a tally.
No, it's early. It's Buxton. He could be out tomorrow.
Wouldn't shock me
But
either.
gosh, is he sweet.
He can rake.
That is a
and
big,
he
that is
can
a
run.
big, fast
He's a
dude.
rake and runner.
Yeah. Did you? I mean, I don't know why I'm fawning over the Twins. It's not my team, but I do like Buxton.
NL Central,
I'm going with your Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm going with your Cardinals. Although my buddy Jordan, he's a diehard. But I do have to get on him because he's too old to be driving around with team bumper stickers. But he's so good to my kids, and he's a good trainer, so I gotta like give him his due. But he's got top 3 staff, bottom 5 pitching, and it could be. It could be. I mean, I think he's kind of laughing at Wainwright making $15 million. That's actually not terrible for. I mean, baseball,
For
like
a country music singer that sings the anthem. Yeah, it's not.
This is his first time ever.
That was sweet.
That was cute.
It was spectacular. It wasn't cute. It was spectacular.
Real cute there, Drew Down.
Yeah, you're just mad that
I'm not mad.
Wasn't doing it.
Hey, got off to a better start than the Cardinals.
Fair.
I almost went with him for my MVP, and I didn't.
Mookie?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that.
Because he's due. Yeah, so I'll take the Cardinals.
And then in the NL West,
I went with the Fathers.
I did too. I thought you were going to go with the Dodgers, but
I'm not a homer.
But the Dodgers will still be up there.
Oh, for sure.
I think they'll only be 2 games back if it comes down to it.
And when we get Junior Walker and the All-Stars back, to help bolster that staff, because right now Gonsolin's a 3. Like, that's pretty good.
And you'll make a big trade mid-season. You always do.
Maybe. Depends on if old Burness is available from the Brewers. Sometimes it's funny. People look at his name. It's like, no, it's not Burness.
Hey, just make sure you treat him right. Treat him like your ace.
Hey, listen, treat them like they want to be treated.
And as we go into our accolades.
I'll take the Fathers. No, we got wild card.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wild card. We'll start up in the NL West or NL East because we both said, hey, there's 2 from there. I'm assuming you're choosing the Mets and the Phillies too.
Correct.
Because the Marlins and the Nationals, it would shock me if you took the Marlins.
Although, man, do I like the Marlins. I just can't figure out why they can't score.
They don't have the offense. They just don't.
Even though they got your fan favorite that you made me mad about, I almost had to leave. Oh, man, Chisholm. I'm like, dude,
I do like Chisholm.
He's still overrated.
And when I looked back at it, I agreed.
I'm like,
yeah, I said I really fell in love with his April month, right?
Yeah,
because he had the best month of April. So I wasn't wrong there. Definitely wasn't wrong there.
I
just don't have the bats. Didn't I tell you? Didn't Birdie steal the most bases last year? How crazy is that?
Didn't I tell you not to go outside?
And Alcantara, of course, the Cardinals gave him up.
Hey, so I don't love the Phillies pick, though, because they don't get Harper back until about halfway through. I still don't know about.
I think that's okay. Nick Castellanos had a good first game back. He has to have a better season for them to be successful.
He's so unlikable through the media. I don't know him as a person.
Like when he flexed over Jake Woodford,
dude,
like that was awesome.
He's doing too much.
That's so good for baseball.
And he gets mad at all the other people showboating. But
and Trey Turner.
Ooh. So he was my 1A MVP pick because of the value.
No joke. Same for me. No joke. Oh man, that's funny.
You could, and he can hit, but he's not going to have his guys back.
Right.
No Roskins at all, and then Harper doesn't come back until. Harper doesn't come back for a minute. But
did I ever tell you my Reese Hoskins story about how he stiffed me of an autograph at spring training?
Did you see how he spells his first name?
Yeah, Rise.
Rise. I think it's RHY, right?
RHYS. Yeah, because that makes a lot of sense.
Got to be different.
Well, that's the world we live in. You got to be different. And then
Andrew Jones got a UW.
UW. Yep. So you had the Phillies, then who was your last one?
Dodgers, Phillies, Mets.
Yep, I had the Dodgers as well. Both Centrals are always like, hey, you either win the division or you're out. Who's your MVP?
Ronald Acuna Jr.
I'm going Manny Machado.
I like it. I like it.
Cy Young winner?
Strider.
Justin Verlander. He'll be the first to ever do it.
My Braves
back-to-back years in different leagues. I did. Who's your rookie of the year?
I'm going with Garrett Mitchell.
And I'm going Jordan Walker. And your World Series winner?
It will be the Mariners versus the Braves. Give me the ATL.
And I am going to take the Braves to win it all. I don't care who they're playing. They're just winning it all. We're talking college basketball next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Take what the game gives us. We don't know yet what their game plan is. We're going to take what the game gives us. What have we said all year about pressure? We don't feel it because we defend, rebound, and we always have a spurt in us. We always have that run, and then we have real connection. You guys call it brothers, some call it family, whatever it is, we have real freaking connection in here where if I'm down, he's got me. If you're down, he's got you. That's how it is tonight, so there's no pressure on anybody because if you have a game, guess what? He's not. He's not. This is the perfect matchup for us, and we are built for this moment.
I'm hyped up. Are you hyped up after that?
Yeah, because he talks about all the things we've been talking about. Right. Family, being there for your brother, energy. Oh, man, come on. I'm all in.
It's Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Isn't
powered
that weird?
By Currency.
But that's what winning programs talk about. It's not just a Nebraska football thing or Creighton basketball. Like, family is family, and good sports teams have it.
And it doesn't matter if you're in college, in the pro level, or even in high school. You teach it at all three stages.
That did give me kind of hype, though.
Kevin Fielder on the line with us now, FAU writer for Owls 24/7 at the Kevin Fielder. Kevin on Twitter. Kevin, good morning.
How you guys doing? It's a little early here, but I'm excited.
Hey, we're excited, man. We appreciate you joining us. So, at what point? And I'm dying to know, because I hate the terms like playing with house money and nothing to lose. I always say, and it's the former player in me, there's pride. You believe when you lace them up, you put them on, you strap the pads on, it's you versus them. You don't think about that. At what point did FAU say to themselves, yeah, you guys can tell us it's a good story. We believe we belong?
I think it was the Sweet 16 win against Tennessee when they beat them, and someone had asked in the post-game press conference, do you guys think you guys are Cinderellas? A very simple question. At that point, they were heading to the Elite Eight. They had just beat Tennessee. They go, we're not Cinderellas. We belong to be here as much as everyone else does.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think at that point, it started to change from, wow, man, this team is going on an insane run, to maybe they're right. Maybe they did deserve to be here. Maybe we should listen to these guys a little bit more than we were. And that's when I sort of started to realize that, this team is a team that belongs to here as much as Kansas State did, as much as, Miami did, Texas did. They deserve to be in the Elite as much as those teams did.
Kevin, as much as, and you just put it perfectly, because I didn't want to call this team a Cinderella either. They have 35 wins for a reason. It's not just like Cinderella teams just flop that overnight. But still a mid-major, right, to go this far in the tournament. And my question to you is involving players next season. Like, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but it seems like players like to leave to go to a bigger school. It's something that we'll probably see out of FDU. We saw that out of St. Peter's after their big run last season. Will FAU fall victim to the same treatment because bigger schools can offer bigger platforms and lucrative NIL money? Or does the talented sophomore class stay because, one, why would anyone want to leave the beach? And two, the move to the AAC for the program?
I think that's a question with a couple parts. First of all, when you look at teams like St. Peter's and Dickinson this year, those are teams that lost their head coach after their run. Gene Holloway went to Seton Hall, I believe, and Tobin Anderson from FD went to Iona. Dusty May has already come out and said that he wants to stay. And there was a report last night, CBS Sports, that said he was going to stay in a long-term deal. I think that helps keep stability. And I think these guys want to keep this going. This is a team that plays with each other as much as anyone has ever seen. They play for each other. The family cliche that gets thrown around basketball teams, they're a family. I don't see them wanting to leave after Final Four run and not be like, hey guys, let's run this back. Let's see what we can do next year. Same team, you add a couple guys, like this is the team that can make another Final Four run. And them playing in the American will certainly help with boosting draft stocks and boosting publicity, because you're on ESPN a little bit more often than, you're on CBS Sports Network or ESPN Plus or Facebook Live or whatever. They play Conference USA games on in the middle of January.
All right, so Kevin, like, you don't have these kinds of things without having good administrative support, right? It usually starts at the top. It takes kind of, the hire, and then the vision has to be casted. And listen, we've heard the stories about the tiny gyms and all of that, but Brian White seems to work his tail off. Like, what's the connection there between, because he is the VP and the athletic director. So, like, what's the connection with Brian White and his impact on the program from the top down?
Brian White is, I think, in the best phrase to put it, is he's obsessed with winning. There's no one that there's no athletic director I've met more than constantly talking about facilities, constantly talking about hiring guys, constantly talking about NIL now that he can. This is a guy who everything with him operates around we're going to make FAU a winning program. We're going to make FAU this. We're going to make FAU this, that. They can be this. They can be that. And I think that helps with the basketball because Dusty May sees that. Dusty May sees the commitment from the athletic director, from the support staff. That makes him want to go a little bit harder. That makes the players want to go a little bit harder. Like, I think that everything that FAU has done this year, yes, absolutely Dusty May and the players. But it is also Brian White, the athletic department, who has put the pieces together for this to be successful.
We're talking to Kevin Fielder, FAU writer for Owls 24/7. Toss him a follow on Twitter at the Kevin Fielder. Kevin, both teams can defend, but pace is where they differentiate. FAU likes a quicker pace and heavy pressure, can really extend that pressure. SDSU plays at one of the slowest paces and is probably the best defensive team remaining in college basketball. How does FAU avoid playing on SDSU's terms in this game?
I feel like FAU's pace numbers are a little bit misconstrued almost because this is a team that's proven throughout the tournament that they can play in different paces. They played slower against Tennessee. They had to play in the half-court offense a little bit. They won that game. They played a little bit faster against Kansas State. They had to play in the track against Kansas State. They won that game. Like, I think that FAU, if it was perfect for them, if everything was perfect, they would want to play fast. They would want to push the ball down the floor. They want to score points. But this is a team that's proven that they can win games that go into the low 60s. So I think it's less about not playing into that slow pace, but it's just playing your offense within that slow pace. They've proven that they can still sort of play a little bit faster in slow-paced games. It's just less fast break, and it's more a little bit faster in the offense, shooting a little bit earlier in the shot clock.
Kevin, where do you kind of draw the line between, hey, we know about the quaint gym and the connectedness of the program and its family versus, all right, we're on the big stage. We've made the transition. What is it about their internal temperament that allows them to not be overwhelmed in the moment?
I think everything goes back to Dusty. The things that he has instilled in the program every single game, it's, we're not, when they beat Memphis, it was, we're not looking towards the Sweet 16. We're looking towards Fairleigh Dickinson. We're looking towards our next opponent. And when they beat Tennessee, it was not, hey, we're one win away from the Final Four. It's, we have a game against Kansas State that we need to win. Everything about Dusty May is so focused on the next task. It's not focused on the national championship, for example. It's focused on San Diego State. And so they put all their attention on San Diego State. And so I think that helps because players are almost their head coach for the most part. And so players are looking at this and not going, oh man, we're one win away from the national championship. We're 2 wins away from being national champions. We have business to handle before we can even get to that point. And between that and they shut off their phones after every game. There's no social media. There's nothing. And Dusty May has said, it's, you know what? We're going to shut off our phones. We're going to focus on that game. Because that's our job. Our job is not to be on social media and be celebrities. Our job is to win that next game against whoever they're playing. And so when they beat Tennessee, it was they shut their phones off, and it was 24 hours of prep for Kansas State. That's it.
9 guys over 16 minutes per. It's one of those things that I look at when I was looking at SDSU and their depth and how they wore out Creighton. We heard it in the open. There's always that run. We just keep coming. How much is the depth underappreciated, knowing good well at some point it appears that the dam will inevitably break and shots start falling?
I think it's not just that they have it's more so that they have 5 or 6, 7 guys on any given night can go for 20 points.
Yeah.
Just look at this tournament. Brian Greenlee has a big-time game. Mike Forrest has a big-time game. Nick Boyd has a big-time game. Donnell Davis has a big-time game. Against Kansas State, Black Holden. Those are already 5 guys with big-time games in the tournament for FAU. Can you imagine being a head coach in Division I basketball and having to look at a roster and go, who do we stop? Who's the one guy that we stop this train going? Because it isn't one guy. It's 5, 6, 7 guys who on any given night have proven that they can be big time scorers for FAU, that they can have a big game. That makes them versatile. That makes them versatile as much as having the 6'8" forward who can pass the ball or whatever. I mean, because preparation, you only have so much time to prepare for a team, and you've got 5 guys who can score on any given night. How do you prepare for that?
Kevin, you are the man. We appreciate you taking some time. I know, like you said, it's an early morning for you, but we really appreciate it. And good luck to the Owls this weekend.
Absolutely, guys.
That is Kevin Fielder,
Thanks,
FAU
Kevin.
writer for Owls 24/7. Again, at the Kevin Fielder on Twitter. If you're FAU, who do you hope to play? Like, if you move on, are you hoping UConn or Miami?
They match up better with UConn, in my opinion, because Miami wants to play the way that they do.
But I like the style that he was saying about.
Plus, you can eliminate Sunogo in some spots too. So
sure can.
I think they
FAU
prefer
has the
UConn.
size. They have the size. Mike Sautter up next.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Mike Sautter.
I would agree, Damon.
Mike Sautter.
Yeah.
Mike Sautter.
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot.
Mike Sautter.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
That is so Mike. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man, put me on the spot. Like Cam Newton. Is Cam Newton your guy, too? Oh, man, put me on the spot.
Pot him up, Shane.
I can't hear. Okay, now I can hear.
That's our first rodeo. I don't know.
Yeah. No, but OBJ's coming, so we're good. If that happens, he'll be all right.
He keeps saying we, like we know that Rodgers has inked the deal.
I'm telling you, he's not going. He's not going to end up there.
Rodgers,
he's toying with your emotions, Mike.
No, we're good. They just said something on the TVs like, how far can the Jets go with Rodgers and Beckham? And I was like, there's one goal and one goal only.
Is it the Super Bowl?
ESPN
yes.
Doesn't know either.
I will be there.
Oh, yeah. You saving up already?
Yeah.
Is that why you
second mortgage, whatever? I'm in.
But what are we going to do about jet surgery?
Well, that's going to be a big time deal because it's both eyes. Talk about my dog. So
my dog.
Yeah, well, the Jets also needed surgery, and they actually performed better after rehab last year.
Wow.
I would.
You know, Brees Hall is coming back.
I love that guy.
Okay.
Me too.
Love that guy.
I got a little bit of a young man crush on Brees Hall.
He was so good at Iowa State too.
Hey, speaking of Brees Hall, the bloodline is very thick with Brees Hall.
Yeah.
Hunter Salas, Tradeon Hollins.
Yeah, that whole family.
That whole family is King Keith. They're all related.
Yeah. Are you all in on the Caprice Keith hype at Bellevue West?
He's a good player. He's young. He's still got stuff to do, you know.
Well, he's gonna be a sophomore, right?
Yeah, I've never been
a young guy.
I've never been the like
fan the flames on a young guy.
Sophomore or seventh grader, whatever person. I just won't. So just not my style.
I'm not a young person. I'm not calling my shot on middle schoolers. No,
that's
not you.
I'm just listening.
No.
Because Caprice, he's
a good player.
Yeah.
He'll be nice. Like he played a ton for them last year. He's going to have a much bigger role. So
I think a lot of those young guys are going to have to.
Yeah, Bellevue West will be pretty good. I think so. I think if we're looking way ahead, because is it May 1st yet? It's almost.
Nope.
Okay, so.
But the lists are out.
Yeah, but
May.
You still got some time for stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. For transfers, you mean?
Yeah. So I think you probably it's West Side at 1, and then it's probably Bellevue West, and I'll say this: don't sleep on Gretna. Yes. Like it's gonna probably look and feel a lot different, but Alex Wilcoxon
he's a winner.
Yes, like a winner and a tough kid and smart, and he'll be the quarterback unless something crazy happens.
I wish we were with him this summer.
I think Miller South's gonna be right in the mix too.
I keep hearing that. We'll see.
I also look at if we're talking about the gap from good to not good is probably wider than it's ever been.
Really?
It's pretty wide.
Do tell, because I'm smiling.
No, I'm just saying,
do you know something I don't know?
No, I just feel that. Like, I don't think.
Don't you think like North, Millard South,
North's gonna be good.
Elkhorn South?
Elkhorn South's gonna be good. Elkhorn South will be Elkhorn South. Carson Rauner is good.
Millard South,
Division I football player.
I'm glad to hear you say that out loud. One of us has liked Rauner for a long time. One of us is like Rauner.
Like him.
One of us is like Rauner for a long time. Yes, because it's just. I mean, I've been asking him about him for over a year, and he was in wait and see mode.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's okay to be in wait and see mode.
He's a good football player. Yeah. He is. He's good.
But it's also good to be right.
He's they're going to be right there. Like, can they finally close the deal in Class A is the question, because they've been really talented, right? So we'll see what Lincoln has. Like, I'm a little, it'll be interesting. Southwest will have a new coach, right? So,
yeah. I do like their young talent, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to find something to happen at quarterback. But
yeah.
I'm a big Carpenter guy.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a stud.
So you look at
good kid too.
Look at the landscape, and you might have like, hey, Grand Island and Kearney are going to give you all they got all the time. It doesn't matter.
I think Kearney should be okay.
Yeah. They're extremely well coached. They're tough to prepare. Like they're always going to be right in the mix. But
I see you repping the brand today, man. Are you ready for the recruit look deal this weekend?
Yeah, I woke up this morning. I was like, all right.
Your morning.
Here we go.
It was
UBT, right?
On freedom. Woke up this morning.
I did a couple graphics I did a couple graphics stuff and put the schedule and rosters together for.
Yeah, I was about to rep
squad
this weekend.
So
you should have.
Well, I was on the schedule.
It's expensive.
I reached
out
for games, but
like $20 a day.
Yes.
My time, no.
It absolutely
to officiate.
No, it's $20 a day for admission.
Fan. Yeah.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
which they got to figure out because
games.
I'm like, you don't play anymore. You don't play more than twice in a day. Tonight we only play once.
Yeah.
So I got to pay $20 for a game that's playing at 7:15.
Yeah.
7:10.
I'll be there. I'll be there about
2/3 of what the officials are making.
I'm there all weekend.
Yeah.
Because Mike is in the South deal and
yeah,
Caleb's in the other.
I'll be at tonight. Obviously, I'll be there the whole time. And
what are you looking for this
tomorrow?
early?
I'll be the whole there the whole time. I will not be there Sunday. Sunday through Tuesday, I'm out.
Your days of rest.
Taking it's my wife's birthday on Monday, her 40th birthday. So we are taking a little mini vacation / break, which I feel like I very much so need at this point in my life because I haven't really
Good on
slowed
you.
down.
Good on you. Where are you going?
Just Kansas City. So yeah.
So what are we looking for this
Garrett
weekend?
Grice is in the transfer portal, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, what am I looking for this weekend? Is
and that was kind of a package deal with Virginia too.
Yeah, I
so
know.
that's
yeah. I just saw that. The Any Russell guys shared that.
That is a very interesting deal.
Great. Yeah.
That was a package deal. That was a good recruiting class for them.
Yeah. So anyway,
just dabbling in wrestling.
Looking
all over the place.
Looking
That's what we do
forward
with
this.
Mike Sautter.
Looking forward to this weekend. I don't know. I want to see how the teams mesh together. I also kind of want to see the I guess Nebraska Supreme Crusaders teams. Is that what they're called this time? So I want to kind of see how they look. I'm intrigued by some of the other teams. Omaha Elite's got some talented guys that people think highly of. So we want to look at that. Obviously ETG and the blending of what Supreme was and what they were last year and what that looks like. I think it's
mostly for the young, for the 16s and 15s.
Yeah,
the 17s mostly stayed intact.
Well, Dello time.
Oh, you did get Modelo, and my
Will.
favorite. Yeah,
Will.
like I'm a big Will Cooper
Yeah,
guy.
for sure. Yeah. So Jacob Rope is going to provide some size, even though I think everyone clearly understands his future's football at this point. So I don't know. Am I wrong on that? I think that's probably fair assessment. But no, I think that's good. The one with PSA Cardinals, EYBL, that's probably the highlight game. But
I think we have EYBL tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's the expectations for this ETG 17U team with Jacob Robe, Caleb Benning, Will Cooper, Eli Gates, Jaden Jackson, CJ. I mean, you have the best players.
Expectation through the roof.
Yeah, that they will have a very successful summer, even stepping up to the 3SSB or Adidas circuit. So
they held their own once they got on the circuit.
Yeah, they were
last year too. So I mean, that's a team that only lost 4 games. I think.
Now,
5?
sometimes when you get AAU ball teams together, you run into an issue of, hey, it's kind of like what I talked about a couple of days ago with the McDonald's All-American game. Like, oh, there's 5 guys on the floor that can all be
not us.
Like the
Not
best
that
player.
team.
Well, and that was going to be my question. Like, how does this team avoid doing that?
They've all
Right?
played together since they were in like 6th grade.
So it's a big role thing then.
Yeah,
like,
they all
understand each other's role.
Everybody knows.
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
And Alvin does a really. I think that's what makes them different. right? Especially within the state and in the region, why they always have success, because he always has success on the national level. And it's not just because he has the best players, because sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. What he does do is they guard.
Yes.
You can't play for him if you don't defend, and it's kind of unsummer like.
It totally is. Yeah.
I mean, they play hard,
And you have it's kind of very much so like the McDonald's All-American game, where I'm watching Geico Nationals yesterday, which, by the way, Blue Cane kid.
Hey, how about
that
how
was
they
phenomenal.
got, and it was competitive too.
Yeah, it was good. I watched 2 games of that yesterday, but those guys and those teams, I guess we saw it at Heartland Hoops Classic. It's kind of like it almost feels like roll a ball out there and play, and that this team does not do that. So
So that's what makes their expectations so high.
Yeah. And
it's understandable. Yeah, it's a curiosity question just for me.
Frankly, I think they have I think it's probably fair to say they have the 8 or 9 of the top 12 players in the state on the team. So in the 2024 class, I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
So Tracy Anderson, that's not Lane Pecorsi, that's not Marcus Glock's not. I mean, those are the
people
three off the top of
debate,
my head.
and people debate Glock too. So
yeah, so that's what I mean. Like you have.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair.
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
The expectations are very high. So I did wake up this morning to get to the answer. Is I did wake up this morning like, all right, like let's go do this today. Back in the gym for the whole time for weekends, which is fun. And by the way, the Adidas 3SSB circuit is coming back to Omaha. So if people remember 2 years ago, it was in Omaha. It was great.
Yeah,
it was great. They did a good job of changing up the Iowa West Fieldhouse and what it looked like. So it's coming back for the first live period, which is the 21st. Is that right?
Correct.
So of April. So that's you'll have a ton of college coaches throughout the country and all of that swinging through and staying in hotels and eating downtown and all that stuff.
So my man Drew Down was thinking about officiating. Brenton had reached out. He was going to get some games in.
Yeah, the times just didn't match up.
So when you're when you're looking at summer and evaluation, how much do you look at how games are or aren't officiated?
I don't,
because it's recruit look, right?
Yeah.
You want to see guys get up and down the floor.
Yeah, I don't look at the officiating piece unless it's just really bad. But you can clearly expect like not a ton of fouls to be called. It's not going to be super tight. You got to play through contact.
Does that mess up your evaluations?
A little bit, yeah.
It does.
Yeah, because can they the contact part is the toughest part, but it also helps kind of finish with contact.
But how many times have we said though, like, oh, that's a summer kid?
Yeah,
or
plenty of times.
He doesn't play like that at
well, yeah, and you also
regular high school.
Yeah, and you also don't have a scout, right? Like where you're like, okay, we know that this kid can't shoot from outside of 2 feet around the rim, so we'll just let him go. Like if he catches at the free throw line, let him take it back off of him. You don't see that. It's always most of the time man to man. At least it better be man to man when it comes to summer stuff. You're playing, unless you're. Now there are times where you can flip it and change it, but if you're playing strictly zone in AAU basketball, then we need to probably have a deeper conversation of what the coach's goals are in life.
So do you like the let it go or play it or call it tight?
I don't mind let it go as long as it's not
egregious.
Yeah, as long as it's not like just total like tackling
like a
people
mauling
or something. Yeah, you got to learn to play again with contact and through it, and it helps ball handlers a ton.
Yeah, because I just know I talk to DB a lot about how I nitpick when I officiate because I don't want those little things at the end of the game to decide the game. We talk about it a lot, like even in college hoops, like the hand check foul with Nemhard. Well, because it wasn't being called all game long,
right.
people are
100%.
out there saying like, hey, like why would you call it there? But if you call it early and you set the tone and you become a tone setter, then you know that at the end, if that call's made, then great. But now you also can go and play devil's advocate and say, well, you didn't call it if there was something like that. But more times than not, people aren't mad about a non-call as much as they are about the call.
I was gonna circle back to that game. If you look at the San Diego State played defense against Creighton like you see in the AAU game. I mean, handsy, guarding the hell out of the ball. Trammell for them, I love guys like that, like your Tradeon Hollins type of just a bulldog, right? Like we'll do everything it takes to win. I was almost slipped up there and said some other stuff that I probably wouldn't be okay. But
Shane, you got that dump button ready?
But I
remember you can say anything once.
Yeah, I was very much so like impressed with his defense. Now they didn't call it at all, and they should have called a bunch more fouls. But at the end of the day, Creighton also probably should have made more shots.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch AAU ball here because I've seen it in St. Louis, but I haven't seen it anywhere else.
You guys they usually have a big pit stop that St. Louis hosts.
Yeah, if you go, St. Louis is one of the main stops. But remember, St. Louis Eagles used to be the squad.
They used to be the squad.
Remember when we played in that tournament? Was that 3 years ago? We were young. We were in 8th grade, but the older guys had the collection. Jason Tatum.
Yep.
They were unbelievable.
What are they called now? I forget.
So the gym next door to us, our guys were like in the 7th grade. It was unbelievably packed.
Yeah, they had the kid that went to K-State.
Because he played with another. He played with another stud.
Hey, wait till you get to.
There was a kid from Webster Groves that was really good.
You want to talk about facilities? Wait till you get to Rock Hill, South Carolina's new facility. Like the thing is amazing.
I
was there last year, and it has like a little mini arena.
Yeah.
And then 12 courts like above it, next to it. So they put all the big.
I got to make some more money so I can get down to Bryan, Texas when we play too. Because that's pretty quick.
I'm going.
Because that's the first start of the live period is the 21st, and they're
28th,
right? And they're the 28th, and
it's a month away,
and they're down in Bryan, Texas.
Are you guys going?
I am.
I don't know.
I am Shane. Actually,
keep trying to, and it's it's just it's a funny line with those combo sport guys.
Oh yeah,
and
how do you balance it? We talked about that last week.
Well, when Freitag was in town, who's the top football player in the state of Minnesota and basketball,
right?
Like, I mean, but you could just tell dude's all in on hoops, right? So you usually have to have one declared sport, otherwise it can get hectic.
It can get very hectic. But we talked about that. I just look at West Side baseball, for example. You have the Rezaks playing baseball, but college football programs want Anthony to throw for them on a Sunday or whatever. It's like, well, like that probably his shoulder probably needs a little break, from a day. So yeah, they talk about multi-sport athletes all the time, but unless it fits their schedule or their plan, they.
And any huge changes do you see locally with kind of vibing with how you thought guys were trending versus where you think they may be moving with the local talent, considering there is so much? A lot of 7-on-7s going on. Those camp invites came out to the ESPN deal.
Yeah.
Under Armour deal, I should say.
I think everyone's probably the same. I think I look at a guy like a Sam Thomas is kind of trending pretty upward from Elkhorn North. Kind of Wyoming offer recently, which just adds a whole nother group, I guess, if you will. There's gonna be so many kids in this 2024 class. I mean, we're at 9 power conference guys right now, football wise, and then you go deeper than that with group of 5 and even FCS, and you're already without camp season starting, you're already at 20 something. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of kids.
When's the eval period come up?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been all in basketball stuff, so I don't know. It's coming up though, where they can get back out. I think after.
I know it's after
May probably.
Oh,
End of April.
There's a couple
first part of May.
schools I know that are coming after the 15th, so maybe it's April 15th.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Is that?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
it feels like it's the right time.
Mike, away from high school here, we were talking Major League Baseball opening day yesterday.
Cubs won, by the way.
Major League Baseball.
So sad you've been
big
converted.
Cubs fan, right? Yep, they did win.
By the way,
Yep.
Verzal's mean to him too.
Is he?
He's
Okay,
equal.
good.
Yes, he's equal opportunity offender.
So the Cubs won. Yep, they are atop the division right now. The Cardinals are not, but the Cardinals were DB and I's pick to come out of the Central.
I didn't know.
Can you put your bias aside with the Cubs and be a realist and pick
Oh, wow.
another team to come out of the Central, or are you like, hey, it's the Cubs that
Well,
are
it's
going to win?
never going to be the Cardinals. So let's go with anybody else but them.
Isn't it classic how that is one of the understated, right? Because baseball is not it's a kind of it's not niche, but it certainly is regional. It is unbelievable how
it's Yankees Red Sox like the rivalry.
There's just no compromise.
We are not.
Well, so I had a
the closest I've seen you guys get to that, and you may have to do it behind the dish, but was Jim Edmonds.
I had a buddy
that
down
was
in
wild.
Chicago.
He wasn't even that
interviewing fans.
He was
because
at the twilight of his career.
Not for the Cubs. He wasn't very
What do Chicago fans like to call themselves? Like outside of Wrigley Field, like it's some type of it's a crazy term for nice. Regardless, he was going around and said, "Can you say one nice thing about Cardinals fans?" He just asking them because they always pride themselves on being a nice fan base. And everybody's like, no, or cuss word, or no. And then I'm just like, it's crazy to think that if you do the same thing in St. Louis, you'd get the same response. Like going back to your best rivalry, it's like two franchises that hate each other.
And I guess
they'll embrace any player that comes from each team, right?
Yeah.
Because like Wilson Contreras coming to the Cardinals,
That's what I said
Cardinals
behind
fans
the
gave
dish.
him an ovation. Like at any point, you bring somebody
Yeah,
over.
that's
Like
sad. That was sad.
You like the player when he's on your team. You hate the player when he's on the other team.
Hate the player, love the game. You got
April 15th to May 1st.
Yeah, because I just had a
May
couple guys
31st.
text say see you on the 15th.
April
and
15th through May 31.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, before we get you out of here, you got some big stuff on the horizon today. What do you got?
I think some stuff's going to happen today.
Do you?
Ooh. So where should people be looking?
Well, the very free website called nebpreps.com has all
There
that
it
stuff.
is.
So there'll be stuff. There'll be some stuff.
What if they want to be
fair.
redirected to that website? Where should they go first?
To
Mike Sauter's Twitter page
or
at
they
Mike
could do
Sautter
that.
_. Come on, Mike. I
They
was
could do
setting you
that.
up.
Yeah,
There's a bunny.
That's all right.
You missed the layup.
But no,
There's also Hurrdat Sports,
Or
which
Hurrdat
is
could go there.
an easy
Conglomerate.
layup.
It's very much so. You could go. You have. There are multiple, I guess, ways to find it information. But after the Final Four, I think we'll know a little more as far as transfers and stuff like that. So, who's coming and going?
Mhm.
So after this weekend, I think middle of next week there'll be more movement, maybe.
Garrett Grice. I'm still stunned.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm waiting for the announcement.
He already did.
It's churning.
I'm still no.
No,
where-
no, your
yeah.
announcement. Yeah. I'm excited. Are you excited? Go to Hurrdat Sports or Mike Sautter
Like
at
Doc.
Mike Sautter _ on Twitter.
It's
He will have
exciting.
something for you, but who knows when it's going to happen. So make sure you're constantly scrolling the feed.
Could
so
do
you
that.
can be first
You
to
tease.
know. Mike, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hurrdat Sports, high school sports insider. And coming up next, we're playing Dog Eat Dog against DB. So call in if you want to play trivia.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 5 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 4 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
Welcome back to the show, 888-638-4876. If you want to play, it's Coffee and Cream in the morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. It's trivia. We just need one. We've had a couple people call in. Shane rolled the dice, and we are going with Brian on line 2. So let's bring Brian in now. Brian, good morning.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, we are feeling it. We're feeling good. Are you ready to take on DB and trivia?
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
I like it. Hey, you get multiple choice, and if you win, you take home a $25 gift card. So here's your first question. Shane, you got the music? Let's do it. There are only 4 players in MLB history to hit a home run on opening day in 4 consecutive seasons. Who achieved that feat yesterday? Was it Aaron Judge, Tyler O'Neill, or Garrett Cooper?
We'll go with Aaron Judge.
Question number 2, Brian. There have only been 2 players in MLB history to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. The first was Fred Lynn. Who did it in 2001? Was it Dontrell Willis, Albert Pujols, or Ichiro Suzuki?
Pujols.
And question number 3. Bob Lemon threw a shutout and hit a home run on opening day in 1953. Who is the only other pitcher to match that feat in a season opener? Is it Clayton Kershaw, Madison Bumgarner, or Jake Arrieta?
Bumgarner.
And the tiebreaker question here, Brian. Wes Farrell holds the all-time Major League Baseball record for home runs hit while playing the position of pitcher. How many did he hit? Closest to gets the tiebreaker. Just give me a number.
I'm sorry. Tell this question again. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. Wes Farrell holds the all-time Major League Baseball record for home runs hit while playing at the position of pitcher. How many did he hit?
12.
12. Thank you, Brian. Sautter, head out there and bring DB back in for me. He said, got it. Thank you. Shayna, we're good. Brian, how you feeling? These questions were kind of tough.
Yeah, I don't know much about baseball, so we're mostly guesses.
All right. Well, DB's probably going to be guessing too because these questions seem to be out past his grade level. But we'll see. Hey, DB, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
We're just talking a little smack talk over here. Say hello to Brian.
What's up, B? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Oh, shoot. If I lose this one, it's a wrap. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
You ready, my guy?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, here's your first question. There are only 4 players in MLB history to hit a home run on opening day in 4 consecutive seasons. Who achieved that feat yesterday?
4 consecutive seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I know this? 4 years? It doesn't seem like he's done it, but I'll go with Aaron Judge.
Question number 2, DB. There have only been 2 players in MLB history to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. The first was Fred Lynn. Who did it in 2001? And remember, you have a lifeline.
I'll take the lifeline.
Your choices are Dontrell Willis, Albert Pujols, or Ichiro Suzuki.
01.
01.
I'll take. That's a good one. That is a really good one. I'll take Pujols.
And question number 3, Bob Lemon threw a shutout and hit a home run on opening day in 1953. Who is the only other pitcher to match that feat in a season opener?
A shutout and a home run. Was it opening day? Was it opening day? Is it Kershaw? No, it's Bumgarner. It's Mad Bum. Madison Bumgarner.
And the tiebreaker question. Wes Farrell holds the all-time Major League Baseball record for home runs hit while playing the position of pitcher. How many did he hit?
Oh gosh. Let's go with probably when my life started to change. Let's go with 36.
36. Thank you, DB. All right, Brian, how are you feeling knowing his answers now?
Yeah. No, you don't have any idea how important this is. I see him all the time. I've known him over half my life.
This is great. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. There are only 4 players in MLB history to hit a home run on opening day in 4 consecutive seasons. Who achieved that feat yesterday? Was it Aaron Judge, Tyler O'Neill, or Garrett Cooper? You both said Aaron Judge. You both are incorrect.
Okay.
It is Tyler O'Neill.
Okay, I'll take it. I didn't think it didn't seem right for Judge for 4 years, but I mean, it was current.
It was indeed. Question number 2. There have only been 2 players in MLB history to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. The first was Fred Lynn. Who did it in 2001? Was it Dontrell Willis, Albert Pujols, or Ichiro Suzuki?
It's too late for Willis.
You both said Pujols. You both are incorrect. It is Ichiro.
Yeah, it was too late for Willis.
Willis was 2003, but he wasn't an MVP. But Ichiro and Pujols were both Rookie of the Year.
So
in
we're
01.
offers.
Both are over. Going into question number 3.
Fudge.
Bob Lemon threw a shutout and hit a home run on opening day in 1953. Who is the only other pitcher to match that feat in a season opener? Was it Clayton Kershaw, Madison Bumgarner, or Jake Arrieta? You both said Bumgarner. You both are incorrect.
It's Arrieta.
It is Clayton Kershaw.
So I didn't know if it was the opener though.
And you said it.
I
You
said it
out loud.
I'm like, was that the opener?
And then you talked yourself out.
And
of it.
I talked myself out of it. Fudge! Oh Lord!
So it goes to the tiebreaker. This is why we have the tiebreaker.
Here we go. Have I ever gone over?
Nope, never.
Wow. See,
And we've never used the tiebreaker.
Listen, he's been to practices with me. I'm telling you. See, this what happens. Bad karma, B. I'm done. We're done.
And the tiebreaker question: Wes Farrell holds the all-time Major League Baseball record for home runs hit while playing the position of pitcher. How many did he hit? Brian said 12. DB said 36. The answer? 37.
Oh, let's go!
DB takes it
Oh, the awkward silence had my heart pumping. I would never have heard the end of it.
He hit it in the bunker. He hit it over the green. He hit it back over the green. But, guys, he still parred. Somehow he chipped in.
Hey, he'd probably beat me at golf, too. V, do you swing it?
Not really.
No? Okay, good. So we can both be bad at that,
See,
too.
I appreciate you, though, Brian. The courage that it takes to call in and play this game against DB, even though you probably you would have done it regardless.
Man,
but
listen.
we just don't get a lot of
I've been
callers
better
for
off in
this. We just don't.
basketball.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be more hoops, too, but, like,
Opening day was
he
yesterday.
stays current with the sport. That's right. I appreciate you, B.
Yeah.
Are you working this
All right,
weekend?
man. Good luck. I'm going to do a couple Saturday and Sunday, not tonight, though.
Okay, yeah. We only have one tonight. At least you don't have to play the cover charge, man. It must be nice to be working.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay that anyway. I'm going in the back door or something.
All right, buddy. I'll
Good
see you this
man.
weekend.
All right, good luck.
Hey,
Later.
thanks, Brian. Man, DB escaped.
Man,
You escaped.
Those were tough.
They were. When I was putting them together, I'm like, I'm gonna do one Cardinal question, and I'm gonna do one Dodgers question.
So the Ichiro thing threw me too because he was old. He was coming over from Japan. He
Mhm.
wasn't
Right.
He had played quite a bit professionally.
But man, did he take the world by storm when he
Yeah,
got here?
He was the real deal.
Yeah, that is somebody that would you say he will go down in history as the best Japanese baseball player of all time? Like,
yeah,
nobody else will ever beat him.
I'm afraid because
Right, future
Ohtani.
Ohtani.
But yeah, like currently he's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's the man.
Nobody comes close to him currently.
Yeah, HOFer.
Nice job, DB.
Uh,
You're still Hey, you're 2-0 over the last 2 weeks.
Kinda. Man. Shoot.
Hey, shake it off. We got another one next Friday. But coming up next, Gavin Keef, UConn men's basketball beat writer for the day. Not like literally just today, but the day is their press release.
Let's go.
We're talking to Gavin Keef next on Coffee and Cream.
Rogers and Benning will be back in 3 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 2 minutes. Rogers and Benning will be back in 1 minute. Rogers and Benning will be back in 30 seconds. Coffee and Cream with Rogers and Benning on Hail Varsity Radio.
I find myself, getting really emotional just thinking about what this group has meant. It's a great group of guys that truly have a unique bond. You could preach culture and family all you want. Some teams buy in a lot more than others, and you just don't want it to end. You don't want to have that last practice. You don't want to have a last game with them.
Hey, as we wind down the show, I want to take a moment and tell you about Dingman's Collision Center. Dingman's is your one-stop shop for all your car needs. Dingman's has helped DB. They're about to help Shane, and they will probably help me in the future at some point because I like to hit things that are animals on the road, apparently, because deer. I've taken out 3 deer since I've had this car, and I can't believe it, but that is a true story. The car looks great right now. It probably needs a car wash. I don't know if Dingman's can do that for me, but they probably could because they can do everything. They're very versatile. We like people that can do a ton of different things. They've been in the business for over 25 years in Omaha, family-run, local business. If you have an issue with your car or anything, go to Dingman's because they can help you out. Also, what are you doing to celebrate tonight? You drinking some zip line after you come home, DB?
If we win.
Yeah, maybe. Acres Ale or a Zipline product, no matter what it is, maybe try the dear old Nebraska brew. We call it the official beer of Nebraska alumni, perfect for tailgating. And it's also a great beer to pair with March Madness. this weekend. And we continue March Madness talk with Gavin Keef, UConn men's basketball beat writer for The Day, at Gavin Keef on Twitter. Welcoming him in now to the show. Gavin, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I'm at the stadium already here and ready to go. It's an exciting weekend.
At the stadium. That is a key thing, because how deceptive are the shooting sites going to be this weekend?
Well, it's funny. We asked Coach Hurley about that, and he says, I've got some really confident shooters, so it's not going to matter. Well, it does matter. We've seen it before. I mean, the backgrounds, it's hard to get a good read. I mean, they've never experienced this before. I mean, these guys have never played in a building like this. So it's a really tough adjustment, and it's going to definitely affect the way people shoot the ball.
So let me ask you something. Obviously very familiar with Coach Hurley and UConn, covering Creighton, and we're right here in Omaha. And so there's no love lost, but it seems like, at least nationally, and it may be different locally, he's been a little more authentic, right? A little more transparent in terms of kind of what makes him go. Was this the part of Coach Hurley that we were missing, or is it just because we're not as close to it as you are?
No, I think that's accurate. I mean, he's definitely changed. I mean, they had that stretch in January. They lost 6 of 8. He admitted yesterday that, he was battling the refs too much at that point and not watching enough film and fighting the refs. And, he contributed to them struggling that month. And he's changed since then. He's been, less intense, so not in the sidelines, but at least off the court. He's been more open. He's been more honest about what's going on. He's been very emotional. Here, before the game, the Gonzaga game, he started having tears come to his eyes in the locker room. He's been a different guy. He's definitely, you've noticed a big change with him.
Gavin, the Huskies lineup balance up and down is their biggest strength. You've got a guy in Sanogo that can dominate the rim. Hawkins is providing elite playmaking right now. Andre Jackson has taken the tournament by storm in numerous statistical categories. Just seems like this team is unmatched. Haven't played a close game all tournament. Do you see any weaknesses with this group?
Well, I mean, they have looked unbeatable. They certainly have. I mean, they've got it all. They're inside, outside balance. They've got role players. Guys have really fit in and accepted their roles. They play well together. They're all about winning. I mean, a lot of teams will say that, and then it doesn't show up on the court. But this team has played like that's all they care about. The weakness is, I mean, if Jordan Hawkins doesn't have a good game and Adama Sanogo gets into foul trouble, then, those are their 2 leading scorers that you've got to take out of the equation a little bit. So things can go south with them. Coach Hurley keeps talking about we have to stick to our identity. We have to be relentless at rebounding. We have to play intense defense. We have to share the basketball. All the things they've done during this run, he says, he's saying if we don't do that, we've seen in January that we can go off the tracks very quickly. So he's been emphasizing that, especially this month.
How underappreciated on the national scale relative to how appreciated he is in Connecticut is Andre Jackson Jr.?
Andre, you ask any player on this team and they say he's the reason why they're here. Yeah. He does everything. The thing is, he can't shoot the ball very well. But what he's come to realize is that he's more selective in his shot choices. And he extends more possessions. You see him chase down loose balls and rebounds and get the ball to Hawkins, who will bury a 3, which is a killer for the other teams, because when you keep these possessions alive and end up with a 3-pointer. So he means everything in this team. He's their heartbeat. He drives them on the court. He's a great leader. He's not afraid to tell a guy, listen, you need to do this better. So he means everything in this team. And I think because he only averages 7.8 points, he can be overlooked. Now, going forward, if he's going to want to play in the pros someday, he does have to become a better shooter. But you can't really understate what he means to this team.
Luxury or something they have to figure out, where we talk about Sanogo all the time, and he gets buckets, and sometimes teams can put him in ball screens, and it'll be interesting to see how he defends tomorrow. But maybe the better pro prospect in Donovan Clingan is the guy that comes off the bench. You can't have that kind of culture or kind of family environment and have those things coexist at the same time, right? The stud is playing ahead of probably the more surefire pro.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And you know what? Donovan is a great kid, and he's benefited. They both benefited from each other, working against each other in practice. I mean, So Nuggles got to figure out how to get around a 7-2 guy, and Donovan's got to figure out Adama is really strong. He's really hard to move. So even for a big guy like Donovan, that's a challenge. So they've benefited from playing against each other. And yes, Donovan down the road, is definitely a better pro prospect. Adama's, going to be undersized. He's more of a low post guy. Adama's learned to shoot the three this year, but he still has to be able to take people off the dribble. But he's also had an incredible NCAA tournament run, 20 points, 9.8 rebounds. So he's improved his stock as well.
We're talking to Gavin Keef, UConn men's bet. Oh, go ahead.
Just one more thing. I mean, when you can take Adama out and bring Klingon in, I mean, that's something nobody has in the country.
That's tough.
Great point. Gavin Keef, UConn men's basketball beat writer for the day, on the phone with us. Again, toss him a follow on Twitter at Gavin Keef. Gavin, Miami is not an opponent to sleep on, though, despite I don't think I've woken up yet. I told DB from the very beginning I haven't been high on them, yet they keep proving me wrong, and a lot of that has to do with their electric offense. This is a team where no lead is safe. What scares you the most about the Hurricane offense?
The backcourt. I mean, their guards, especially Isaiah Wong, ACC Player of the Year. I mean, if UConn's had trouble defending teams this year, it's guards that can take people off the dribble. And that's what Miami does really well. They get to the foul line, they shoot the ball well from the foul line. So they're a real dangerous backcourt. I mean, UConn's going to have the advantage up front, but think that Miami can stay in the game because of the backcourt.
It's interesting. How do you think? And listen, FAU can go big. And at some point they can get hot too. They can play in spurts with tempo. Do you like the depth matchup because both teams can play 8-9 guys, or is there a style that you think better become apparent to give an advantage to UConn?
Well, with UConn, what you find with them that there's no fall off with their bench. Now they're not going to score as much as some of the guys that are coming out. Their stars come off the court. But especially defensively. I mean, they've held opponents to 35% shooting during the NCAA tournament run, and they play really good defense when you have playing inside, kind of protecting the rim, and their perimeter defenders. And Naheem Alim's a really good perimeter defender. So I like UConn's bench the way they're playing right now. Joey Calcaterra is shooting the ball well. He had a time during the regular season where he was really struggling doing that. So I think UConn has a little bit of edge, especially with Klingon coming off the bench.
Gavin, how is UConn embracing the role of the villain right now? Because it seems to be talked about as if no one wants UConn to win, kind of out of nowhere, because they're just the best team remaining that people are at least saying.
It's funny because we've asked the players about that, and they don't want to hear it. Like, they don't want to hear that they're the favorites. They don't want to hear. I mean, Andre Jackson was. He went out, really talked about this a lot after the Gonzaga win. We're saying, well, you're going to go to the Final Four as the favorites. And they say, no, listen, we were unranked at the beginning of the season. Nobody believed in us. And then we went through that losing streak in January. People jumped off the bandwagon. So we don't want to hear it now. He says, it's not genuine that people are now getting back on the bandwagon. He said, we just don't want to hear that we're the favorite because we don't believe that.
Well, Hurley has become more likable. I think maybe that's some of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, with Hurley, what he's done better this tournament. I mean, they lost in the first round each of the last 2 years, and last year's loss in New Mexico State was just terrible, embarrassing. So what he's done is that he's lifted the pressure off them because they played too uptight the last 2 years in the tournament, and Hurley learned from that, and he's trying to bring more joy and enjoy this moment. He's trying to take a lot of pressure off his own team, and that's worked, especially after they got by their first round game against Iona. Then it kind of lifted this burden from them. So he's coached a little bit differently, and that's made a difference.
Gavin, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much, and enjoy the Final Four.
I will. This is my 6th one I get to cover, and so I've covered all the UConn ones. I've been here covering the team 33 years, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you.
Hey, you need anything? If that hurts your feelings as Creighton fans or Nebraska basketball fans, you may need Dyer Law. Personal injury attorneys, they are here for you. Give them a call, 402-393-7529. You can get them at Dyer.law. But remember, with all your needs and you're looking for trusted professionals, make sure you hit up Dyer Law. That's Dyer.law.
Enjoy the weekend. We will see you next week on Coffee and Cream.